Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. Let me get that set back up there. Thursday, December the 7th, 2023. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. My God, we're not going to be saying 2023 for much longer, and that scares the shit out of me.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
At all?
One moment, please. A momento.
I can try restarting my...
What about now?
Yep, I hear you.
There we go. All right. Yes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I was just saying we won't be saying 2023 for very much longer, and that scares the shit out of me. My God. Moving on in to another year. I'm gonna press this other tab, and God help me. I knew it. I wasn't gonna get that lucky. All right, one sec. So as I'm doing this, well, actually, you know what? I'll finish my intro and I'll hand it off to Mr. Black, and then while he's doing his thing, I will sort this out, because right now you're seeing his left eyeball, or technically his right eyeball at the moment. That's about all you're seeing. So, this week, I'll give you my week. So this week, my streaming computer died. Out of fucking nowhere. Went downstairs, went to turn her on. Nah, fuck you. Wasn't happening. Now you can see yourself on the stream. Wasn't happening in a million years. I fought it. It seems either the motherboard is half dead, or the hard drive is completely fucked. It's corrupted. So what I had to do is I have everything set up on just one PC. It's on my gaming PC right now. I moved everything over.
Oh, like a normal person.
Yeah, everything got moved over. Now, like the processor I have is not built for this, like, whatsoever. So it's been quite a fucking journey to do this. I don't have, like, I think you have like a 3900X or some shit in yours, or some meme that we put in yours, or even better than that. Either way, mine doesn't quite have enough. It works. We'll leave it at that. It works. We got that sorted. It works. Let me just move you over here. There. That seems to be pretty good. There. We'll do that. That should work. You're definitely. I don't know why, because, like, on the streaming PC, it's just like a capture card of the whole fucking screen, and then I'm just moving you into position. And in this, I'm just using display. And then on this one, like, on display, well, how can I zoom you out a little bit? Is that even a thing I can do right now? I don't really think that's.
Because I'm kind of like sitting. I'm kind of sitting here.
All right, well, sit where you want to be, and then I'll just move the. So get comfy, like that, and then I just, with the power of science. Are you comfy there?
I'm good.
You're good? There, boom.
I'm good.
Dead center. Easy peasy.
No Christmas tree now.
No Christmas tree, unfortunately. And I honestly, there's no way for me to zoom back on this right now. Right. I'd have to basically redo
We'll figure it out for next week.
Next week I better have an actual computer for streaming back, but we'll see, because of course, right in the middle of this, now we got all the family get-togethers and all the shit coming up, and it's just like a one after the other. But we will figure it out. Yeah, the Zoom part is, I don't know. We'll sort that out. Either way, that was mostly my week. Was that and fighting to try and get the computer back, and failing, and then spending a bunch of time getting this computer set up with all of the stuff for Technical Alpha and all of the stuff for my personal stream, so that for however long it might take me to fix the streaming PC, this is here. Because I'll just keep it a bill right now, Mr. Black. If that motherboard's dead, that PC's dead, and it's staying dead for quite a period of time.
Oh yeah.
I won't be resurrecting that PC anytime soon, because a new motherboard to slot all of the capture cards and shit into it is like a $700 bill, and I don't have $700 right now to just spend on a motherboard. But if it's just a hard drive, or if it's just the drive itself, like I'll just that's cheap. I can do that. But if it's any more than that, stay in there for a while. It can go into hibernation for quite some time, and I'll revisit it in the new year. But yeah, we're all set up, and other than that, it's pretty much been my week. We went out. Mom and Dad and Em and I went out last night for a dinner that's like crazy overdue. We had originally gotten. We were originally supposed to go out for dinner to like Da Maurizio's, which is downtown Halifax, ages ago. Like we had a gift card that was they given to us from like 2 years ago and never gone yet. And we finally booked this thing, and coincidentally, Mom and Dad had one too, because when Nan passed, the church got together and gave them a gift card and whatnot to for them to get out of the house and go have a dinner and take a break. And that was they never used theirs either at the time. They just didn't have the time to do it. So both of us had gift cards to the same restaurant. We said, let's just fucking mash those bad boys together. So that's what we did. So we spent well, I don't know what, some stupid amount of money, because it is what it is, but it's delicious. It was amazing. And it was a very nice time being able to get out and go out for dinner with the parents. So that was good. And otherwise, it's just been another week getting ready for Christmas. We're hosting this year because Mom and Dad are renovating, so their house is torn to shit. So we will be the ones hosting here. So that will be exciting. We haven't got our tree yet. That's coming Tuesday. We're going to go get our tree. It will be M's next day off. And so, yeah, that's it. But Mr. Black, how was your week?
What did I do? I mean, yeah, I haven't streamed the last couple of days. I've been feeling like a bag of smashed assholes.
I saw that tweet, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, it's not like super bad, but it's like, it's enough that like I'm drained. And last night, I was starting to cough a little bit, and I'm like, please do not let me have whatever the fuck Kayla and Kai had, for the love of everything that's holy and sacred. I cannot be dealing with that shit for the next month, 2 months. So yeah, today I was coughing a little bit this morning, just drained, man. Just like, fuck, I went to the gym, summon the energy somehow. I'm like, well, at the very least, I may as well keep exercising until my body tells me I can't. Maybe that'll, either beat me down more or I'll muscle through this. So like today I feel like 70%. I'm just kind of drained, like don't really want to do much. So yeah, I went out today. I went to the gym, grabbed some sushi this afternoon, and then finished my Christmas shopping. So I'm done. Like,
good.
100% done's go.
Let's go.
Christmas cards, gift cards, everything. Like it's done. It's done. So, it's been, I was relatively productive the last couple of days, even though I haven't been feeling good, but I just took the opportunity to get the shit done. Got a bunch of stuff done around the house. We had that big snowfall, and took my snowblower out for the first time. And we got that little pool house down at the back of the house. And so we store that in there throughout the summer months, so there's more room in the garage. It's just, there's no point in having a big ass fucking snowblower just sitting in there. So anyway, we take it out, and I broke the pulley start thing like the first year I got that bitch. But what I do is I hook up an extension cord and I just do the electric start. It works every time.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, pull it out, put in the electric start, boots right up. I'm like, oh hell yeah, here we fucking go. I'm ready to get rid of all this snow, and the snow was so fucking wet and packed. It was
because it was barely hovering around zero, so it was just like it just wasn't cold enough, and so it was heavy as shit.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, here we go. So I go to fucking hit the gas, and the thing's just not moving, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I turn it off. I check the oil. I check the gas. I'm like, I look at the blades, make sure there's nothing stuck in there. I'm turn the shit back on. Boots right back up like normal. Sounds normal. Go to do it again. It ain't moving. And I'm like, oh no, this ain't good, because I'm at the bottom of the hill and this thing's heavy as fuck. And there's like a foot of snow outside. I'm like, man, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. And my knees aren't great. Like my right knee, like my left knee is good since the surgery, but my right knee has been like
No
compensating for a very, very long time. And then now it's the bad knee. And I'm literally like one jig instead of away from this shit just going, right? So I'm like, I gotta be careful. So I call Kayla out. We somehow managed to push up the hill. We're both like fucking gassed. And fortunately, my neighbor comes over with a side-by-side and plows us out. I'm like, all right, I'm going to put this snowblower on the back of the truck. I'm going to take it out to the mechanic, or like the shop that fixes all the stuff. Because they're so fucking... I'm like, man, fuck this. I'll just go buy a new one. I've had this one for 8 years. I'll go buy a new one. I went and looked at the prices of snowblowers. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go take this to the shop.
Yeah,
I'm going to take this to the shop right now.
Yeah.
Because I ain't trying to spend minimal $1,000. Minimal. If I want something like good, we're talking like $1,500, $1,700 for like one that's going to last, that has like a large frame on it, so you can get through the, you're not there for 3 hours.
One that's good for heavy snow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So pull the truck out. And I got like a little ramp for the truck that I got when I had a 4-wheeler. And so I used to like just drive the 4-wheeler up on top of the truck, put it in there, and I could take it wherever. Well, since the snowblower wouldn't move, and the ramp, like my truck is pretty high, and the ramp is pretty much on like a fucking 90-degree angle. And I'm like, okay, well, we can try this, and it's wet and slippery outside, and it's a metal ramp, so we couldn't get this thing up there. And I'm like, no, Kayla, you're not busting your back, and I'm not taking on a knee today. So anyway, I then waited another day for the snow and everything to kind of clear up on the roads. And then I have a trailer. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to hook up the trailer. So I hook up the trailer. I put the snowblower on the trailer. And I was a bit of an idiot. I wasn't thinking, bro, because this is like when the sickness started hitting me. I'm like kind of drained. I'm like, fuck, just want to get the stuff done. I just want to go home and lay down. So anyway, I get because it's the trailer's much lower, and the trailer comes with a ramp.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we got that bitch on right away, no problem. My stupid ass forgot to tie in the fucking snowblower, right?
Oh, so it's just rolling around.
So I just hop the shit in the back, I get in the truck, I'm fucking driving, I'm going through my neighborhood. All of a sudden, I hear boom! I'm like, what the fuck? I look in the back, right? Because I had the snowblower on the basically at the cage at the very back, and it's a 12-foot. It's like a 12-foot, or not 12, 10-foot metal trailer, right? And next thing you know, this fucking snowblower came when I hit the brakes, like when I was like stopping. It
rolled all the way up front.
It rolled all the way to the front, smashed the front. Thank God it was all. It didn't hurt my truck or anything.
It's because it's caged at the front.
It's caged in, right? So I'm like, oh my God, it scared the shit out of me. So then I had to drive home. And I'm like, Jeff, you got to tie this shit in, bro. Like, what are you doing? You're going to fucking kill yourself or somebody else. The fuck are you doing? Wake up. Right? So I go fucking back home, tie this shit up, and I take it down to the thing. It's been there. They said it's going to take like a week and a half. Dude, when I dropped my snowblower off there, because it was after the first thing of snow, it was a graveyard of snowblowers. They're like, yeah, just throw it up front. I'm like, oh, front? Bro, I looked. It was like a parking lot full of snowblowers. I'm like, how long is this gonna take? They're like, yeah, it'll be about 10 days or so. We'll give you a quote, we'll give you an estimate. I'm like, all right, fine, take it. I can't be fucking bothered. So anyway, that was did all that, and then did a lot of my Christmas shopping that day. Came home and took the trailer home, man. Just driving a truck with a trailer in the back. It's like
fucking miserable.
My anxiety just goes through the roof.
Well, of course.
I don't trust anybody. I mean, look at me, dude. I fucking didn't even tie in my own damn snowblower, let alone everybody else. And I got this thing, and I'm not used to driving with this thing, right?
No.
And driving with it is okay, but it's reversing. When you got to reverse on this fucking thing, my brain can't even compute. Like when I first got it, I went into a large parking lot, like a Walmart parking lot. I just started fucking driving around just to try and figure it out. My brain just couldn't even handle it. Like you go left is right, right's left, down. You can't. I'm like, okay. So what I do is like when I'm driving, I like kind of map out where I'm going so that I never have to go backwards. Because like if I go backwards, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. So that was an adventure in itself. Yeah. And outside of that, I mean, I streamed a little bit, but I took the last couple of days off, and then tomorrow I don't even think I'm gonna be able to stream because I got this parent teacher thing at Kai's school, and then they got tickets to go to the this glow thing or a big Christmas.
Oh, the thing they have downtown or whatever. Yeah, it's
I don't know where. I don't know where what it is, but anyway, gotta go see Santa Claus and everything. So I'm just gonna try and get as much rest as I can tonight, and then hopefully I'm fucking okay tomorrow because it's just it is what it is. So that's been my week. I mean, it's not an eventful week, but it was like.
It was almost an eventful week, but thankfully you had a cage at the front of your.
Oh my god! The back of my truck would have. I mean, there was no way that it was getting out on the road.
No,
but like if it wasn't properly caged, like the back of my truck would have been fucked. Like fucked. Like at least I had it all locked in. Like there was no way it was gonna fall.
Yeah, of course.
Out.
But yeah,
but my god, yeah,
bad times.
Scared the shit out of me, bro. Scared the shit. I'm like, I thought I ran something over or something. I'm like, what the fuck?
Of course.
I looked at the back.
It would have been a hell of a noise. It would have been a hell of a noise.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That was my week.
Dad's died too. But he brought, Dad brings his snowblower out, like mid-November. And puts gas in it because he drains it at the end of the year and whatever thing, and turns it on, sees if it's going to turn over. And last year it was already chugging. Like he had to back off on the choke a lot to keep it going. Had to run real fucking rich to keep fucking going. And go. And so he knew it was coming. It made it through last year, and then this year, okay, all right, whatever. Now, granted, that snowblower is like it was the one my grandmother had that we brought over here.
Oh, okay, well,
and it is. We fixed it once before. It was I can't remember if it was a plug on it or what that got fixed before, but it was. I mean, that snowblower is 20 years old almost.
Okay, well, I mean, bro, you just gotta accept
it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
now it's fixed now. So he had it out for the first snow, and it was fucking working a fucking treat and everything, all good. But yeah, he had to go and get it sort of set up again. And it's just those engines are they're simple, so they're easy to fix. But they don't run super fucking clean, and they gunk themselves up like real easy, and so eventually you just have to get it cleaned up and replace a couple of fucking.
Well, that's why I dropped it off, and I said like, look over the whole thing for me.
Yeah.
And like, if there's anything that's kind of like super fucky or it's about to go, just fix it, or call me first with a quote. Don't fix it, because if it's gonna cost like $500-600, I'll bite the bullet and just buy, because I've had it for 8 years. So I'll just I'll bite the bullet and get a new one. Yeah. But yeah, she said it's either likely the a belt that basically moves the drivetrain. Anyway, she said it's one of the belts, or it's typically there's like a disc that basically lets the tires that she's like they eventually go or they seize up. And she's like, even rodents can get in there and like eat up the belt. And since my shit is in a glorified shed,
entirely possible.
It's possible. So anyway, I'll find out. I'll know that some point next week. But anyway, that's been my week. Dropped the bag on Stormgate. So I this is the most money I've ever spent on a Kickstarter. So it was like about 1,400 Canadian is what I spent.
Oh, you went all the way in on the Kickstarter.
I was gonna do the 2,000, but I was like, I just can't. I was like, that's just too much, because it was like 20. It's like I looked at, because it's all in US, right?
Yeah.
So like 2,000 was like almost $2,800. I'm like, you know what? No, bro, I'm not. No, that's irresponsible. I'm not doing that. But why I wanted to do the 2,000 is because if you do the 2,000, I don't know if you saw the tiers, but you get an NPC named after you in the game.
Oh, I see. And they probably have it limited to a certain number of slots.
It is a certain number. Yeah. So basically, like in a campaign or a mission or something like that, like you'd have your own named character. But I got the $1,000 one, which allows you to name a unit in the game. So I'm going to name a unit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
The
Are you naming
2001
Are you naming it Bob?
No, there's already Bob in the game.
Oh, really?
There's already
Oh,
a Bob.
that's right.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
He's a
That's
scout.
right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
What
So,
do we, what name do you think you're going to roll with?
I don't know because they're gonna. I'm assuming they're gonna give me a unit and then tell me to name that unit. So I'd have to look at what the art is
And see
like
what
for
it
the
is.
unit and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that
yeah.
and see. The first thing that came to my mind was a shapeshifter. So I don't know. Hopefully I can get something.
Oh.
And I don't know. I don't know. It just sounds like an RTSE type, just a shapeshifter.
Well, that's exciting.
know.
That's exciting. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I know.
So, and you get a whole bunch of other stuff too, right? Like the
Oh, well, I would think so.
Oh yeah, like I may as well just go through it.
They probably have a physical version of the game that you're going to get. Maybe. Are they going that route?
I don't know. One sec here. Yeah, they started with $100,000 kickstart, and it's well over $1 million now.
Well,
it
that
just
was.
started, like, yesterday.
I knew that was going to happen because you know why they do that though, right?
Of course, bro.
We actually didn't we just talk about this, like, because we were listening to the guy who's he worked at Blizzard and he's done indie dev now, and he said everyone basically sets a super low bar,
Of course,
so that you clear it in the first 24 hours because then that news gets picked up for news cycles that you've cleared in 24 hours and you go out.
Well,
everyone knew they were
15
clearing
minutes.
100 grand.
They did it in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so super fast rundown. So they've got the Stormgate supporter, which is just $1. So you can just, it's kind of like our Patreon.
The dollar menu.
It is what it is. You don't expect anything, but you're just supporting the content.
Yeah.
There's the Stormgate founder, which is $5. So basically you get exclusive Discord community role and you get updates, and upgrade your pledge anytime during the campaign. Yeah. So it's basically like the dollar one, except you get a Discord thing. $25 founders pack. So support Stormgate and get into the game before early access during the preview week period. It includes one Vanguard hero, the Vanguard Chapter 1 campaign content, an army, ancient cosmetic, and a founder's Discord role. So that's for $25. For $40, you get the deluxe founders. So you get all of what I just mentioned. It includes everything in the founders pack plus one infernal hero, one from the third faction, which hasn't been announced. I think it comes in the new year. They're showing it off in the new year. And then you get a chicken pet. So remember that chicken?
Oh yes, the placeholder.
The placeholder. Yeah. So you get a chicken pet, and then you get access to the 2024 beta wave 1. So if you spend $40, you get all that stuff, which I think is value. You get all that stuff, and you get access to the beta in the first wave. And beta is like out now. So like you can they've done there's been content being made now. Yeah. They're people have been making content around it. The content that's being made is
that's not what's in the beta. I'm assuming that was like a vertical slice that they gave people.
No, it is. No, it is, but they're not allowing everybody to stream it. So it's they had very specific slots. Yeah. And I'm sure that they're told to showcase and talk about very specific things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, the next one is the Ultimate Founders Pack. That's $60. So for $20 more, you get everything in the Deluxe Founders. Plus, you get campaign chapters 2 and 3. You get a Fog of War shader. I don't know what that is. Like I know what Fog of War is, but I don't know exactly what a Fog of War shader is.
So what it would be is, how Fog of War in the minimap is basically just grayed out or blacked out. I'm assuming that they're coming up with skins for the Fog of War that as it erases, it'll just be like a different. Yeah, okay. So maybe it's hot pink, maybe it's got some images on there, maybe whatever. So that's what that would be.
Okay, the next one is the Stormgate Collector's Edition box. So that's $200. Mm-hmm. So now we're getting up into it. This includes everything in the last pack, plus a fully painted Vulcan mech statue. And then you get like a pin set, a challenge coin, and access to the beta They all get access to the beta at this point.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
basically, you're getting the collector's edition statue and
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
The thing that I didn't really like that much about the statue is they didn't let you pick a statue from which faction you want. So like they basically you're getting the Vulcan or the Vulcan or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And that's the show.
Well, is that because it's the only statue they're making?
It seems like that's the only one that they're allowing for this specific campaign.
Okay.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. It might just be that they're just making one for the sake of like, you know.
Yeah.
Ease of production and
that's probably
keep costs
what it
down.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And then there's the one that I got. So that is the Immortal Founder. So basically, you get everything that I just said.
Yep.
And you get to name a unit.
Right.
So that was pretty big for me. I'm like,
of course,
I want to name a unit, dude. I'm gonna be casting this game, playing this game. Like, I would hate myself. It's a lot of fucking money, and I didn't want to spend it, to be honest with you. But I'm like, dude, I will regret this and some if I do not fucking name a unit, for Christ's sake. Okay, so that was that's basically all you get. You just get everything. You spend $1,000. You basically spend $800.
How many slots did they give for that? Because like how many units are they really going to let people fucking name?
So there's up to 300 potential spots, but 200 there's still 256 left.
300. How many units are in this game that you're fucking able to give up 300 spots?
It's quite a few. I mean, there's 3 factions. I mean, think about how many units are in StarCraft. It's quite a bit, right?
Yeah, but there's not 100 per faction.
No. No. So I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Maybe there's specific units that are for campaign or co-op.
It's got to be something like that, right? They've got to be spreading that bitch out into the corners of everywhere. Yeah. So we'll have to see how that
Plus,
rolls.
in this one too, you get your name in the credits. So you
yes,
you
of
get
course,
a credit.
yeah. I would if you're gonna name a unit, you might as well be in the credits at that point.
Yeah. And then there's the Godly Founder, which is the one that I wrestled with, dude. I was at the checkout, and I had it in there. I was at the checkout, and I was like, man, I don't think I can't. It's like, it's Christmas time, like, bro. It's like, I got it, but I ain't got it like that, man. I'm just, So that's $2,000. So you get all of this stuff, including the named unit. And you get you get to become an NPC.
Right.
So
of some description.
It just says you become an
NPC.
And
how many are open there on that one?
300. And there's 266 left.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not surprised there's 266 left.
I don't think you're going to see more. And this all closes, I think, at the end I think there's 1 month. Something like that. 55 days. Okay, so February 1st. And then the last one is the Hall of Legends. So it's 5,000 USD.
You're naming the game. They're actually going to throw the name Stormgate out, and they're going to let you rename the game for $5,000 US.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you get everything. You get all this stuff from before. You get to become an NPC, name a unit, sign collector's edition, the founders pack, name in the credits, beta, preview week, founders Discord role. Then you get developer play tests. You get a custom plaque, and then you get an entry in the Hall of Legends. I have no idea what the Hall of Legends is, and I'm sure they probably have it. I don't know. I just think
be an in-game location that's got statues that are dedicated to the few, something like that. It could be some, hey, whoever's got that money, God fucking bless.
18 people have done it. There's only 100 available, but 18 people have done it. Dude, there's no way. There isn't even a small chance. That's
a lot of cash.
Yeah, and that's US. That's 6,800 Canadian.
Yeah.
That's a big no from me, dog.
Yeah.
That's a big no from me. Yeah. So anyway, I became an immortal. I'm an immortal founder. So I will name a unit, and I will keep you guys all up to date.
Let's go
on that. And once beta starts beta has started, but once they open it up for content, then I will start streaming it. I'll start, posting some stuff.
Jumping in on that.
Jumping in on it. So I'm ready.
Fantastic. Yeah. And since we're already on this topic, and as you know, I was just mentioning, there are a new wave of content, creators putting stuff out. I mean, they put it in the hands of like Asmongold, for example, and others who've been doing videos on the most recent build of the game that they're ready to show people. They did their own developer little video as well, a little update developer diary type deal, and put that out. And so I've watched most of that stuff. And so is there anything in there that we haven't already discussed previously, or is this just a more polished version for the public that already existed that we've kind of gone over?
It's more polished. The engine they added, I forget the name of it, but they added some kind of engine on top for response and stuff. So like the game is like very responsive. I mean, like it kind of makes StarCraft look like
they added fallback, if that's maybe what they're talking about.
Yeah, okay,
what you're talking
that's
about.
What it is.
Because
is it the fallback? Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure, but it made
fallback is a network thing that fighting games have used. That helps sync what's happening between both players and just helps in general responsiveness of the game, and so it goes a long way in helping with any kind of network connectivity issues. If it's not a perfect connection, or if it's a little bit latency heavy, then it helps it quite a bit, which is important. And I don't know if like StarCraft had something like a fallback, because I've never really seen, maybe they just hit it, but I never really saw a lot of lag in StarCraft. You know what I mean? When you're in a game, even if you have high latency, like you might notice that it takes a while to like for an input to be registered per se. I know that was a thing if it was really bad.
It still can be. Like,
but
especially since
but you never noticed like rubber banding or anything. They hid the visual part of it, but the input latency was still a problem. Fallback should theoretically pretty much eliminate the input end as well, which I'm sure everyone will be very fucking thrilled with, especially Southeast Asia, who's been left to die so often on the server side. Every game 700 millisecond ping, just absolute shambles. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna play some more Stormgate this weekend, because I haven't even played the Infernals yet.
Right.
So I've only played with the first race that they brought in. So I'm gonna try out the Infernals. I think that's what they're called. I'll give you guys an update like next week on how I think the game is, because I've only played one game since the last time.
There's no update. There's no update to be had at the moment.
No, but I mean, if people really want to see how the game is, there's tons of content out there now.
100%.
Yeah. Streamers that are playing it. Now, that being said, the game is still early beta. So like it's still not the end goal, but it is substantially more polished.
Yes.
Than what it was even 3 months ago.
Yes.
So it's come a long way. Still, the one thing, and listen, I'm going to sing its praises, but I'm also going to speak my mind on what I don't like about the game. And the I'll be honest, I am not a fan of the art style of this game. I'm just not. It still hasn't come around on me. I've accepted it. I'm sure aesthetically it's going to change between now, but it's not going to change to the point where it's like, it's not
going to be dramatic.
Correct. It's gonna, and I think what it is it's hard. I find it's hard in the game to differentiate what the different units are. They all kind of like, I don't want to say we talked about
this before. Yeah.
It's this weird. It's kind of hard to explain, because like in some ways they look different. Yeah. But in other ways they look the same. It's hard.
Well, they're all quite like, because of the art style, they're all quite bulky, And so I think that some of it is that even when a unit is smaller, but they still have that bulky art style, unless it's dramatic, like the Scout, for example, it's pretty easy to fucking spot the Scout amongst everything else. But when you start getting into, the upper tiers, there are units that look very samey. They're very similar in sizes. They're very similar colors, and it's hard to differentiate. And then something else that I've seen people talking about as well in the comments, because Frost Giant's been good about responding to people in the comments of all the videos and whatnot that have been, that they've obviously clearly curated for which content creators are doing it, so they know what channels to watch. But they it's something we talked about as well before, if I'm not mistaken, where it's kind of hard at this point in time to tell the difference between the allied units and the enemy units. And so there is clearly, between what you're saying and that, people mentioning that, there's clearly a visibility problem in general that they're going to have to work on, whether it's color palette or the actual visual everything about certain units that will help start to separate them. Otherwise, if you can't even tell your own units, and you're having a hard time against the enemy units trying to figure this shit out, it's going to be a clusterfuck.
Yeah, it's like watching a hockey game, and both sides colors are red and blue, but instead
They're
of
just
the
different
top being
shades.
red, it's down bottom, so it's just swapped, and you're like, I'm being a little, I'm exaggerating a little bit. You can tell what your army is,
but it's more difficult than it.
It's almost like it's, at least when I was playing it before, and even when I was watching some of the streams, because I watched some of Grubby play, and I've watched Loco, and I watched Asman. I've watched a little bit here and there, like 15-20 minutes here and there, and even then, like, I can see what's going on, but I almost feel like I got to think about what I'm seeing. And in StarCraft, the only thing I want to think about is the actual game. Like, I want to think about what I'm doing next. I'm just, and maybe it's because the game is still so new, and I don't even know all the units' names off by heart.
That will be some of it for sure.
And so, like, I'm trying to. It's just a lot. Like, it's overwhelming, but I just think visually, and I'm not the only one that feels this way.
Oh no,
like,
it's a very common comment.
Yeah, they need to do something. So, and I'm sure they will. But anyway, it's enough of Stormgate. I'm excited. I dropped the bag. I didn't want to, but I did, and I'm gonna be happy I did. And the good thing that I like about this too is they're not actually charging anybody until February 1st. So, like, it's not like you're spending all this money right before Christmas, which was nice. So, but you can lock in your pledge, and whatnot. So, I'm pretty jazzed about having a unit, and we, as soon as they give me the unit I can name, and I'm probably gonna be picky too. I'm gonna be like, guys, come on, give me like 3 options. Just let me look at 3 units and let me pick one. Come on, just I'm gonna see what I can do. Just give me some options.
Well, we'll have to wait and find out. But that wraps up the last point I had in my notes. We got that out of the way.
There it is. I was thinking maybe I name it after one of the units that we named. Because there's already a Bob. There's a Steve the Stalker. We got Billie Jean. There's I don't know.
I feel like Bob is like the one true candidate because you could probably get away with it. Steve is probably not going to fly. Billie Jean is definitely not going to fly. You can't name something a giraffe. So I think like the fact that Bob is already in there, we're kind of already shit out of luck on that front. Like there's I mean you could maybe you go with like you could name one unit Niskel.
Oh, I could.
As like an enshrining episode 8.
Wow, that's a cool idea.
So that that's a possibility. You could go down that road and enshrine episode 8 forever.
Like, and be like, yo, look at all these Niskels. Niskels. You know what I mean? Like, because I want it to like come off the tongue nice. I want it. What does it sound like when it's plural? What does it sound like when it's by itself? What's the nickname for it? You know, because a lot of times, even in StarCraft,
It's shorthanded.
we say things like Stalkers, we say things like Zealots, but do we really say Dark Templar? Maybe once or twice, but then we go right into DTs. You know what I mean? It's too much. You know, I feel like we don't say High Templars, but we say High Temps. You know,
That's because it's 2 syllables or less is the ideal thing. So if you can lock in at 2 syllables or less, golden.
So it's like if we say Niskel, right? It's like it's kind of already there.
Yeah. It's 2 syllables.
It's 2 syllables. So I don't know. We'll see.
Archimedes. You could name a unit Archimedes.
Right. Yeah. Could you imagine?
Holy shit, that every time you cast it, up comes Archimedes.
Oh, man.
Or even better, you could really fuck it up and just like actually call it Archimedes or something.
Archimedes. Just like one of my butchered names.
What are you butchered ones?
Yeah, fuck. Can you imagine the cast? He's maxing out on Hemides. Is it Hemides or is it Hemides? Jesus Christ, who named this unit?
That would be pretty fucking amazing. Or Techno Goose is a little too cartoony, but it would have been good.
Well, I think for an NPC that would have worked, right? And that was one of the names that I thought that I was like, man, okay, if I get an NPC,
Techno Goose.
I can name it Techno Goose.
Oh, fuck. We'll have to wait and see to see what kind of unit gets put in front of you. We have to see. We'll have to wait and see.
And do you think I kind of have to play the race of the unit that I'm naming?
I mean, that's assuming that you're getting a unit that is
race unit. Yeah.
That's what I'm. Yeah, the odds of that seem slim to me. When they have 300, it just doesn't make sense in my head. But maybe you get lucky. You never know. We'll have to we don't know. I don't know how there would be 300 things in general to name. So I don't know. I don't see how they got that to that number.
Well, theoretically, it's more because think about it. There's the 2001, the 5001, and the 1001. And both the 2000 and the 5000 both come with naming a unit. So theoretically, there's 500 open spots. But I think they know they're not going to sell 500, right?
Well, no. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. But then they're like, but what happens if it did? Now they're stuck with it. Now they gotta fucking
I don't know.
Invent 500 fucking units. We'll have to wait.
It's like you're gonna have to come together and name a unit with somebody else. Be like, you guys are gonna have to get in a room.
Yeah,
and fight
exactly. Yeah, you're gonna have to come to a vote on what this name's gonna be. It was revealed this week, Mr. Black, to pivot to the next part of the news, that the layoffs at Bungie that we discussed about on the podcast previously weren't just the same as the layoffs happening around the industry, but were more specific to a goal, which was avoiding total takeover. So, as the industry is obviously contracting a bit right now, although the latest numbers coming in is that hires are up 13% in tech. So we're starting to we hit the theoretical bottom of how much
out of the recession now. So I mean, I think things are going to start booming here over the next 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, the way they're describing it is that the total available jobs in tech shrunk by 40%. Basically, it's huge. So 13% is a good sign, but it's not going to suddenly fucking rocket off into the sun again. But it is slow to come back. That being said, this wasn't necessarily all about that. It was predominantly, apparently, as we found out this week, avoiding total takeover. And by who? Well, Sony. So Sony bought Bungie for an unholy amount of money. They definitely overpaid for Bungie when they bought them. It was billions. I can't remember if it was 2 or 4 billion. It was somewhere in that neck of the woods, which was way more money than they were ever fucking worth. However, they went for it, and I think it was at the time probably in response to the first or second wave of a lot of major studios getting purchased, and they didn't want to get left in the dust, not having their hands on anything. So then it was in the bracket that they could afford to pick somebody up, and Destiny was going to be successful and whatnot. So they went in on it, and they paid too much money, and so of course they're looking to make their money back. And unfortunately, despite the fact that they gave Bungie almost complete autonomy, meaning that Sony owned them, but on paper, if you look at their board structure and whatnot, Bungie was pretty much, they're in control. And so a lot of people were blaming Sony, when in reality, the whole time, take the mask off. Oh, it was Old Man Jenkins the whole time, except it was Bungie, and Bungie's, I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids. And so it was Bungie. Bungie was fucking this up the whole time, and people were blaming Sony. Like, everyone blames the people that buy the companies up. They always go, it's Microsoft, it's Sony, it's whatever the fuck. And in reality, a lot of times, for the bigger studios anyway, this isn't always the case with smaller ones, but with the bigger ones, they let them do their... Look, they bought them for a reason. They didn't buy them so that they could fucking, like, clean everyone out and rebuild them. They bought them because they make good shit and they're likely to make their money back. And so you let them do their fucking thing. It's just that sometimes that doesn't work out for everyone involved. And in this instance, Bungie has been, with Destiny, really a roller coaster of some success and a lot of struggling with the game, financially and otherwise. And now that we're moving into the final shape release, which we just discussed last week, got delayed or confirmed delayed into next year, into spring. They're trying to figure out, how to avoid getting taken over by Sony, and these layoffs were part of that, apparently. Now, this might also explain why, just in the last week, they had a horribly received and poorly named starter pack that they put out for Destiny 2 that was released, within the last week or so, and almost immediately got removed from the storefront as players were baffled at how awful a deal it was. They were charging $15 for essentially nothing. It was like a gun and a couple like little small bits and charging $15 for it, which was like insane and calling it a starter pack, which of course entices new players. They see starter pack and they go, this is clearly the developer feels like this is the way to jumpstart getting into this game. It's been out for like 10 fucking years. This is like the thing to do when you first get in, buy this and it starts you off. In reality, basically nothing in that pack was good for a person just entering the game whatsoever. So it was an unabashed cash grab in every sense of the word. And to put a finer point on that, there are things on the storefront that are infinitely better for a new player that are like 1/3 the price. So $5, and you're getting entire expansionary content with dozens of guns instead of one. So like dozens of guns, expansionary content, which comes with raids and dungeons and extra content for $5. And then over here, it's like none of that. One gun and a dream, $15 starter pack. And they're just trying to, but it now makes sense. They're struggling. They're scrambling. They're desperate. They're doing anything they can. And unfortunately, that's just not been going very well for them. Now, they pulled that off the store, so props to them, I guess. Good job, you listened to people, you realized you fucked it. But I'm sure internally they're going, fuck! It's another blow. They just can't win right now. It's a struggle. I don't want to say that the final shape might be the final game for Bungie as we know it, but it might actually be. If Sony takes them over, they're going to clear that bitch out and put people in place that they trust to say, all right, we only got X dollars back on our investment. We got some work to do. Let's figure that the fuck out. And so in a few months' time, we could be watching yet another titan of the industry fall to their own bullshit in the majority. Like, at some point, what was it? So Bungie was with Microsoft. They complained about Microsoft. This is back in the day with Halo. So we're done working with Microsoft. It's too much work. We don't want to make more Halo. We're leaving. And then they complained about, what was the intermediary between them and Sony? They complained then. And then they got in with Sony, and they're complaining with Sony. And so every time it's Bungie just continuously going, it's literally anyone else but Bungie. And there's a common denominator here.
I was about to say that. What's the common denominator?
It's Bungie.
Yeah. It's time to clean house over there at Bungie. I'm sorry. It's time to clean house.
It's done.
Anyway, good luck.
Anyway, good luck to them as we wait. We'll have to wait and see, because there's really not going to be, unless some more catastrophic news comes out between now and then, we won't really hear anything much from Bungie until Final Shape pops off, and then all of a sudden we're going to find out in a very short period of time whether or not they're going to continue to be.
Shape.
Yeah, exactly. There's a good shot that if you own a fair number of digital games on the PlayStation Store right now, that you might lose access to at least one or two of them, as Sony's license ran out for some 1,200 games, which means anyone that had purchased them also just ran out of their license. I don't have a games list for you. Odds are it's not going to be we know it's not The Last of Us that's being taken off the storefront, obviously, or it's 910 fucking remakes. But it's probably some more B-tier games that are on the list. It's maybe some indie stuff that's in that list. Some older titles, some PS4 titles, things of that nature. But 1,200 is a big enough number that I'm sure this is going to hit a few people when they turn on their PlayStation and all of a sudden they don't have access to one of their games, because that's just a long list. I think they had the list available, but I was like, bitch, I ain't sitting down reading 1,200 fucking names for these games. Not happening. I'm just going to assume that when you get rid of 1,200, you're going to hit a few people with having their games no longer be available to them. And this is just kind of, I just bring this up because even though I don't buy physical games really anymore these days, and some of that is just because they don't really produce them all that frequently, but yeah,
I do. I'll go to GameStop straight up
and buy that up
and buy a fucking game.
Because this is the reality, right? Is that they will just, if their license runs out, they just walk away.
I mean, I'm a collector, right? So I want physical media anyway. It's just as soon as you start collecting physical media for something, you're gonna go get it, right?
Yeah,
it's
of course.
If somebody collects fucking Blu-rays, right? Everything's on digital now, but it don't mean that if you're gonna buy the movie for the same price, you're gonna fucking buy it on Blu-ray. Chances are they're going to make that extra effort to just order it on Amazon or go to fucking Walmart or wherever they're at the next time they're there, grab the movie. I'm the same way. But I also know, and I know this because it's been proven, and it's been being proven again, that there will come a time where your game, unless you are buying flagship properties from those specific developers, right, or consoles, or if you're buying Mario, okay, you can go buy it on digital. Okay, they're not getting rid of the fucking they ain't losing the licensing to Mario, right? Zelda, same thing. The big ones, right? But if you're one of these gamers that like to dabble in the obscure stuff, or the cult following games that you gotta, I'm not saying that they'll go, but I think eventually, whether that's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, it's inevitable. It's going, right? So why not just get the piece of physical media and you're golden, because they'll even tell you, if you read the fine print, they'll tell you you're buying this game digitally, but if it gets removed,
you don't actually own it.
You don't own it. It's basically a rental. It's a permanent rental.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is. It's it's a literal permanent rental until Blockbuster goes out of business. And eventually it will go, right? Or they'll get bought out. And it'll go somewhere else, and they'll be like, no, I want that shit over here with my stuff. And you're like, oh, well, I've already owned it. Can I play it? No, you got to go buy it on our shit, right? So, is it a huge issue? I don't think it's a huge issue, but it is an issue for a very specific subgroup of gamers out there. So, my 2 cents is, online it's super convenient. It's like fucking buying shit on Amazon Prime. It's like right there. Everyone's got super fast internet. You can download the fucking games, and most people within 10 minutes. I mean, for you and I, it's literally a minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You've downloaded 50 gigs. You know what I mean? It's nothing. It's easy. But guys, don't get trapped, man. Don't get trapped, because if it's a game that you love, and it's a game that you think you're going to play for years on end, you should probably buy the physical media.
Now, here's an interesting, unfortunate note to that. That specific situation is that there are games now that sell a physical copy, but all it is like you open the box and it's a card that says, go download the fucking game, you scrub. You don't get to own this bitch.
I don't buy those. I don't buy those. I just don't buy them. Fuck them.
I don't think it's a problem for a lot of people now. I think as the industry continues to move forward, it will become more and more of a problem. We talked a little bit about in the gaming sense, losing games to the ether, where they literally are, you can't find them anymore, and for no good fucking reason but corporate bullshit. And Christopher Nolan talked about this with movies.
Yeah,
just recently, where he was like, all this street, they're all evil. This is all bullshit. Yeah. We're going to lose all of the movies. They're going to disappear. They are not interested in the preservation of film. They are interested in a quick dollar money. And to fuck you.
Yes. It costs them substantially less money to sell it to you digitally on a fucking network through
for the
cloud.
Same amount that you'd pay for the disc.
Now, if you go buy digital, it saves you $10. Man, bro, I'm buying digital, right? Unless there's a game that I want to keep indefinitely, I'm going digital because now I'm saving big money, right? You do that over a period of time, but nah, bro, same fucking price, same. Now imagine you get your account fucking hacked, stolen. You get you do something that they don't like and they freeze your account, they delete your account with all your games on it. You know, it is what it is. And not only that, there's been people that have been selling their accounts to other people. They get the accounts, they realize they realize what has happened and they freeze the accounts. They just, no, bro, you can't do that. They don't want you to do that. When you got physical media, you do whatever the fuck you want to do with it. You want to resell it on Facebook Marketplace? You resell it on Facebook Marketplace.
They got to capture all the revenue streams, Mr. Black. They got to get it all.
Well, it is what it is, bro.
Then they can pay Ryan Johnson $50 million for another fucking glass onion or Knives Out extravaganza.
Ooh.
Overpaying,
which I didn't even really enjoy the last one.
Overpaying the fuck. Talk about overpaying,
dude. I watched the. Oh, okay, we'll talk about that after. Next segment.
So where was I in this list? GTA 6 trailer. Yes, right. So here we are. This is the kicker for the week. This before, other than the Game Awards, which happens tonight, GTA 6 dropped their trailer, and unfortunately, like everything, it got leaked because we're not allowed to have nice things. There were a bunch of developers waiting to have their own internal little watch party and see as everyone got excited on the YouTube page and everything, and then some fucking cucklord leaked that shit for internet clout and go fuck yourself. And then there was another leak previous to this that ended up being allegedly, a kid of one of the developers and or a friend of the kid of one of the developers for internet clout.
That guy's fired. He's fired. He's gone, I guarantee it. He's done. You just cost your dad or uncle or whatever, or
a job,
or if it's a woman, your mom or whatever. I'm like, gone, bro, gone. Man, you can't even, as the parent, you can't even play the card. It was my child. They were stupid. They're gonna be like, bro, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you. That ain't a kid's gonna be a kid. That's on you. You done fucked up. You're gone. That's what's gonna happen.
Imagine bearing the weight as a kid that you've lost your parent, their fucking high-paying job in the industry.
Well, not only that. You're at Rockstar.
Yeah, that's the show.
That's the show, bro. You're working on GTA 6. This will be probably the biggest game ever. Like, I'm talking like Mario levels of sales.
Yeah.
Like, it is going to be fucking gigantic. You done fucked up.
Oh, they don't know what this is. These kids got.
You done fucked, bro. Can you imagine sending your resume into the next company you're going to?
Like,
hey, what happened over at Rockstar? You've gone from Rockstar down to fucking Ubisoft, right? And you're like, hey, Ubisoft, I'm trying to get me a job. Hey, what happened over at Rockstar? Oh, my son leaked Grand Theft Auto 6.
Nah.
Yeah, you ain't getting this job. Even though nobody gives a fuck about Assassin's Creed.
Oh. Bro, I'd be so
do,
angry. I'd be
whatever.
so fucking. I'd be so fucking angry. Levels of angry for all that for TikTok brain. All that because of TikTok brain, bro.
Oh, bro.
These kids, dumb as a fucking goddamn post. TikTok brain.
Oh my god, dude, you wouldn't even. And you know they got to be at the age too where it's like they know what the fuck they're doing, right? We're not talking like a 6-year-old. You know what I mean? We're talking probably a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid.
Oh my god.
And you know at school he's like, yo, my dad, he's working on GTA 6. He won't let me see anything, but like tonight when he's sleeping, I'm gonna go onto his fucking work computer and I'm gonna send you some shit. He'd be like, no, you ain't, motherfucker. It's GTA 6. No, you ain't. Yeah, well, yeah. Goes out and does it. Leaks the whole fucking. Bro, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're lucky your dad don't get sued.
Oh my
You're
god,
fucked.
dude! The levels of anger be too damn high. Just the.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So anyway, the trailer came out, one way or the other. So they had to release it early because it was already leaked. So they were like, "All right,
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
fuck it."
fortunately for them, it got leaked like 15 hours before the actual reveal, but it's still not the way you
it's
want
still
it
a
to.
rug
It
pull,
just fucks
right?
everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. So they released the trailer and now it's it's out there and obviously both of us have seen it. Now before we talk about the trailer, I guess the little funny anecdote here is that fans noticed this week that Rockstar teased the release of this trailer like 6 months ago. On a t-shirt that was on the GTA 5 storefront for GTA Online or whatever, for a brief moment. And the name of the t-shirt was just like 4 question marks. And on the t-shirt was, some graphics or whatever, but there was like random numbers and shit around it. And the number string on it, or one of the number strings on it, was the date for like December fucking 5th, 2023 or whatever the fuck. And so they were memeing everyone 6 months ago. Nobody picked up on it. They were probably internally going, well, fuck, there goes that idea. We thought we were doing something clever. Nobody noticed.
Nobody picked it up.
Nobody noticed, but there we are. So how did you feel? I'm sure you've seen it, many times over at this point. How did you feel about the trailer? And do you have some thoughts on our first look at GTA 6?
I mean, it was a trailer. I mean, it was, did it get me hype? Yeah, I guess. Like, it's like, okay, it's really happening. Like, you know what I mean? But it was the first teaser trailer. There is no gameplay footage, right? So you don't get to see, what the UI looks like, what the, obviously it's in the engine and stuff like that. So like you can obviously, the graphics are up from where they were in GTA 5, but like you don't get to see it in action. What I did think was very clever, and I started enjoying the trailer more the next couple of days, was when they started showing the side-by-sides of all of the real-life Florida shit that they memed on. That they've recreated.
Yeah, a bunch of Florida, man, yeah.
It's all Florida, like criminals.
Yeah.
Like real-life people. The alligator inside the fucking store, the girl twerking on the car as it's driving, the clown dude that was in jail.
A woman with two knives.
Yeah, it's everything in there. They did a side by side, even the selfie thing with the girl in near the beginning.
Yep.
All that stuff. That part I was like, wow, that's clever. That's really cool. And the first thing that as soon as it was over, I was like, that's such a Florida, like it's so America, it's so Florida that like, I was like, it is what it is. It's Grand Theft Auto, man. Like, was I surprised that it's coming out in 2025? No. I said that I don't think it's going to be until fall of 2025. I was like, there's a small chance that they say, Christmas time of 2024. But typically, Rockstar is usually 2 years out when they announce a game. Like when they announce a flagship game, you're looking at 2 years. Also, what was leaked, which they didn't say in the put on the trailer, 2025, that's only consoles. No PC.
Oh, yeah, no. Anyone that thought
PC.
this was launched in PC alongside the consoles clearly hasn't been paying attention to how they've done every other fucking game, basically.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've been telling people this because people were like, "Oh man, role play, it's gonna be." I'm like, dude, you're not gonna see this game for a couple of years. Then it's got to come out on PC. Then they got to mod the thing on top of that. I mean, dude, you're looking at probably 4 years before there's any type of modding to the level that you can go on there and role play and do the things that you do on PC. So, overall, I'm excited about the game itself, but it's 2 years out. And this is the first teaser. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more stuff, obviously, throughout the year. And the next year, they're going to tease more. There'll be more trailers. There'll be in-depth looks at the game. They'll hype the fuck out of this. It's already hyped the fuck. It was like one of the biggest, I think it was like the biggest YouTube video in a 24-hour, or it's like the top. I don't even know where it's at, man.
It's up there. Well, the number's going to be broken right now anyway.
Records. Yeah, a GTA 6 trailer. It broke records. So like right now, it's got 121 million views on YouTube in 2 days. That's nuts. That's fucking nuts.
That's such a huge hit of Steam. Like there's just like you can't.
And it wasn't even released when they wanted to release. They said, and it was funny because I tweeted out. I said I tweeted out at Rockstar. I'm like, yo, it just got leaked. You're like 15 hours out. You may as well just release the trailer because I watched it. I watched the stupid leaked version that they had where they had like buy BTC and it was like 240p and it was like fucking awful. Like you couldn't fucking see. Yeah, they had a big watermark in the middle of the whole thing, and it was 240p. And I was like, man, it kind of is. And do you really want? Because that video, and I mean, they were taking that shit down. Like it was hitting Twitter, and it was going down within like 5 minutes. Like it was like boom, it was up, down, up, down, up, down, and then it started going on websites. And I'm like, dude, if you let this shit go, you're gonna have at least between now and 15 hours from now, minimal 30 million people watch this 240p watermarked garbage, and this is the first thing that you want. You should release this within 3 minutes of my tweet.
Jeff is claiming ownership of the release. You're welcome, everyone. Mr. Black delivered you the early release trailer for GTA 6.
At least 5 million people on Twitter saying the same thing. But
no, that was definitely just you.
It wasn't until I said it where it went where it needed to go. So y'all can thank me. And you can do that by going to patreon.com/LagTV and throw some money at the screen.
You can. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, listen. I gotta give it to Rockstar here. I mean, I don't think there's a game dev in existence that's got their shit together as well as Rockstar does. They've got their shit together. Yeah, the leak and stuff happened. I don't know how it's a miracle to me that they even got as close to this finish line as they did.
Exactly, bro.
Without it happening. Because this is like a mammoth fucking thing, right?
Everyone
is looking to try and leak this shit. Everyone wants the inroad for the clout of having been, the one to release this information or this video or whatever else. And so it's a miracle they got that close. And so props to them for that. Now, that being said, I guess for me, when I watched it, I'm not excited for the game because it's 2 years away. I'm never excited for a game really that's 2 years away. But if I say that being said one more time, I'm going to shoot myself. It looked fucking good. The thing to keep in mind here is, other than the fact that it's still 2 years away, which is lots of time to polish the game, it already looked fantastic. It's Digital Foundry did the breakdown on it. Almost everything, with the exception of some of these selfie video sections, all in-game footage, every ounce of it. And that's something that's going to run on consoles. Now, obviously, it ran 30 FPS because you know why? Because the consoles are going to run it at 30 FPS. And if you go watch the Digital Foundry, you're going to need a computer. You got some time to get there. You got 4 years or so to get there. You get that computer together.
Perfect. It's perfect timing because by the time it's there for PC, my PC is going to be
ready
screaming
to
say, "Upgrade me." You know what I mean? Like it's
true.
time.
It's true. But it's so they've got a lot of stuff going on technically in that game that we got to see in that trailer.
Just the lighting in itself, dude. I was like, oh my god, the layers of lighting that they had.
You know why? Because they're basically using RTGI, which is like ray trace graphics injector. It's ray tracing. They've got global fucking illumination ray tracing in the game. I don't know how they're doing it on a scale that fucking big. They did make some concessions to get it to that point, clearly. It's not going to run at 4K. It might not even run at 1440p to make it happen. But with all the shit they're tacking onto this bitch...
Oh, it's going to look so good, bro.
It's going to look freakishly fucking good. And lighting is... just putting ray tracing in the game isn't by itself enough to make a game look really good. You still have to know what you're doing. But lighting is... I maintain this because I talked about it on my stream not long ago. Lighting is right now, currently, the number one thing that you can improve in a game of almost any art style, and it will be the thing that makes it look way better. We're not in a point anymore where you're going to go from, like, the Super Nintendo to the N64, or the N64 to, the GameCube. We're not going to get that kind of technological leap, really, at this point. It's not about necessarily higher polygonal models and all this shit anymore, even though it is, you get some of that, but we're already so high, like they already look so good, it's not this massive leap. But what we don't have is shit like real-time lighting and whatnot that can make a huge fucking difference. And more specifically, density. You look at how much shit is on screen in this trailer.
It's crazy, bro. And it goes back forever.
And shadows are being drawn all the way out.
Huge. Apparently this map is fucking gigantic.
The assumption was what we saw in the game is just the opening zone for the game. So because in previous Rockstar, for GTA and stuff, they tend to, what they show off is the opening area of the game. And so that's probably like zone 1 of the game. And it's fucking massive. So, I mean, it looks fantastic. The hair, fucking hair,
so
the dude with dreads out the side of the fucking truck.
Looks so good, bro. Looks so good, bro.
Bruh.
It looks so good.
And they don't have to do that shit on an open world game. Like, do you reserve that shit for like a single player, like Tomb Raider type shit? Yeah, Last of Us. But the Rockstar was like, fuck it, and fuck you. Everybody. I'm putting it in this game. I'm putting 1,000 people on screen at once, and we're putting it in our bitch.
Yeah, you better get a $10,000 PC. You better.
But you know what? This will really, I think, be one of the first games that we'll see the upper limits, if not the upper limits, of what these consoles can do. Because they're going to milk it for all it's worth.
Oh, for sure.
And their engine is capable of doing more than most people's engines. And so if you want to see, and people will be like, oh, well, The Last of Us looks better, or even like some people were saying Red Dead looks better. You know why?
Because it's high?
Well, you know why though? Because trees are a lot easier than cities. Reflective surfaces in cities with cars and buildings is a fucking technological goddamn nightmare. You know what it is in the woods? Some God rays and a pine tree. That's all it fucking is. It is so much easier to make a game like Red Dead look fucking incredible with rolling hills and some fucking trees than it is to have like an 80 square kilometer meme map where you're driving through the city at night and there's skyscrapers with 40,000 windows all casting reflections on top of the car paint and everything else that's around you. And if it's raining, now the fucking ground, everything. There's so much to worry about and so many more people. Like in Red Dead, how many people on screen you see at a time? 6?
If you're lucky.
Maybe. And a bear?
Maybe.
Like,
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto, like, you go into a public washroom, there's 6 people. You walk outside,
dude.
there's 600.
Just wait till this game comes out, bro. It's gonna make Red Dead Redemption not look so hot.
But on a
It's gonna be
PC,
that-
I'm scared.
On a PC, it's gonna look so fucking nuts. You know, it's gonna look fucking nuts. I'm calling it right now. This game is gonna sell.
Oh, is this, what time period is this? On like launch on the first 72 hours? Because they usually go first 72 hours. What do you got first 72 hours?
First 72 hours, 40 million copies.
God!
First 72. 40
Damn!
million.
Damn!
40 mil. 40.
Are there even that many
40.
fucking consoles in the wild right now? Like, what do we...
I mean,
we got
dude,
two
think about
years.
it. You've got 2 years before the game comes out.
Yeah,
You've got the PlayStation and you've got the Xbox, right?
yeah.
Now, if all 3 came out and it was PC as well,
Oh,
this
well,
number
I mean...
would go up. This number would go up even
Oh.
more. But I'm gonna say 40 million copies in 70. So if the game comes out, when do they usually? But they usually come out on Tuesdays, right? Is it Tuesdays or Fridays?
I mean, traditionally Tuesdays, but they've been the traditional shit's been thrown out the fucking door a million times over.
All right. Okay. So let's put it this way: if the game comes out on a Tuesday, so from a Tuesday to a Friday, I'm gonna say 30 million copies. Okay. If it's a weekend, I'm going to 40 million.
Okay, so right now we are in the ballpark of 68 million consoles being sold combined between the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. Now, I don't know if this game's even going to make it to the S. I have no idea how they're going to fucking downscale that bitch to make it to the S, but assuming they do, the sales split for the X and S right now is like 60-40. So 40% of the X, 60% the S. So if we were to assume that most people buying this are going to do it on the X, then we take 40% of their current 24 million, which means there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 million. So we're at about, let's say, 55 million consoles. Now we got 2 more years to sell some fucking units. Let's call it 70. We might have 75 million consoles sold by the time this game comes out.
The amount of people that are going to buy a console for this.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of PC gamers out there that don't own an Xbox.
But they're gonna buy it for this.
100%.
And then they're gonna buy it again on the PC.
They're gonna buy it again for the PC. This is what I'm talking about, dude. The amount of people. This is gonna sell consoles, millions of them. It's gonna sell millions of consoles for both. And if they're smart, they'll do some sort of bundles with a PlayStation or an Xbox. Dude, they're gonna sell so many copies. If you think that a fucking master gamer is gonna sit there and wait an extra 1 to 2 years before that shit comes out on PC while this game is out, and they're not gonna run out and buy a console, you're high. You're high. They're gonna run out and they're gonna buy this shit. And they're like a lot of them. This is what's gonna bump Xbox a lot too. Microsoft's gonna sell a lot of fucking consoles for this game because there's a lot of people that already have Game Pass, right? So they're going to be like, okay, well, if I already have Game Pass and I'm only going to be playing Grand Theft Auto, I may as well get an Xbox because at least then I still have my Game Pass. I can play whatever I want on a console. That's the way I would look at it, right? Like, why would you buy a Sony? Maybe they're like, you know what? Maybe there's somebody else in the household that, would want to play. And I'm sure Sony's going to sell millions of consoles. But yeah. I think the Xbox is going to boom.
You know what I think? I think Xbox by then, just 2 years. I think we're going to get the announcement for I think there's a chance. So for the Game Awards tonight, I'm streaming it, right? As I always do. And what we've done here the last year, we do it this year as well. 8 or 8:30 our time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we got lots of time. So that's assuming you're going to watch it. I have no idea. I have no idea. But
I'll watch it.
yeah. So I think there's a chance that tonight we have a bingo card of all the shit like that could happen at the show, and we play bingo watching the show. And one of the spots of the bingo card this year that I put in was the announcement of the refresh for the Xbox Series X. With 2 terabyte, the 2 terabyte, the one that got leaked in the documents that we talked ages ago. Now PlayStation announced theirs. We already know theirs is coming, but we haven't heard Xbox yet. I think and Xbox wasn't at the show last year, famously, but they're going to be at the show this year. I think there's a chance we're getting an announcement for that tonight. There's a chance. And if not, it will be relatively soon. In probably the next 6 months, I would imagine we're going to find out about Xbox. I think they're going to bundle the 2 terabyte fucking whatever. They're going to have, and it's the X, the Series X has way more custom versions than PlayStation 5. Like the amount, like, cause it's a fucking rectangle. They can paint that bitch in it, and some of them are fire. Like there's a bluey one. I don't know if you've seen this.
I have seen it.
And I gotta be honest, it looks pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, it's fire. It's fire.
So they could have a GTA 6 one.
Could you
2
imagine?
terabyte.
Bro, they're gonna sell. They'll sell all of them. They'll sell them all.
They've got this has got to be it, because it's not his first party, but they have to find a way to turn this into sales for the Xbox. They have to.
Oh, bro.
They have to.
Can you imagine if it's a limited time Grand Theft Auto 6 Xbox?
What? There's no way. They've had no shot. If they did, though,
could you imagine? The Xbox look, the controller look, everything, just GTA 6. Dude, I will buy if there's one, I will buy it and I will never open it. It will just sit
because it's going to be worth a fortune at some point.
It'll sit in a glass case for 20, 30 years. And then at the end of it, I'm going to buy a house now. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you. 100%.
I think that's what's going to happen, because Xbox has to get a tie-in, not an exclusive thing, but they have to get a tie-in of some kind, because they're so far back in console sales. And even though Phil has said they're not in the console sales game anymore per se, I think that's only a half truth. They have to keep up because of appearances. They have to keep up appearances here. If they just go full-blown publisher too quick, I think they're going to lose too much or too many people who are still interested in owning consoles. And if you don't have a console to back up your service, I don't think a lot of people are going to fucking care. Or not as many people that they need to care will care. And we already know that Philly Boy's on this like 2027 fucking timeline that they're rocking right now for Microsoft put the pressure on. So this is one of those like milestones, and obviously everyone knows this internally. I mean, anytime a Grand Theft Auto game comes out, this is your chance. This is some big fucking unit sales.
Huge. Oh, bro, it's the biggest. Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold 190 million copies.
Over the span of, what is this, 12 years now?
It came out in 2013, so 11 years.
11 years.
10 years. It came out September
the end of the year?
17th of 2023.
So a decade.
So it's been 10 years.
So they've sold
90 million.
They've sold an average of 19 million copies a year since release.
Yes. And the bulk of those came in the first few years. And then during COVID and stuff, it just jumped again. It just fucking went nuts. The only game bigger than it is Minecraft, and I don't think any game is catching Minecraft. That's 300 million copies of that game. 300 schmil. Not only that, I said 40 million. All right. I said 40 million copies. That's a lot of copies. That's all the copies. But what I will say is this. That number prediction will be fully dependent on the price of the game. Right. If they at least give an option for a standard amount, I'm sticking with my prediction of 40 million copies. But if all of them now are like $120 a piece, I can't go 40 mil. I can't. I'm bringing that bitch all the way down to about 30. I'm knocking 10 million off that motherfucker.
I think the first 3 days.
You got to say at least 10 million copies, man.
In the first 3 days, I'll give them 30. I'll give them 30 mil. I don't think it's north of that. I think it'll be 30 mil. I think that the first 2 weeks will be, exponential, but the first 3 days, in my mind, if we're at 75 million consoles and then we assume that, let's say, 10 million consoles or 7 million more consoles are sold specifically for GTA 6 or whatever in those first 3 days.
Yeah.
Right? An attach rate of almost 50, if not over 50% on both consoles in the first 72 hours would be fucking... But even for Grand Theft Auto, that sounds insane to me.
Huge.
So I'm going to say 30. I'm going to say 30.
Reasonable. It's still an insane amount of
Oh,
copies.
well, GTA 5 is still the fastest entertainment property to make $1 billion to this day.
Yeah. And there's already rumors that this game cost over $1 billion to develop. We're not even talking advertising dollars yet, just to make.
Bro, they don't need advertising dollars. You see, they put out one trailer that got leaked and got 120 million fucking views.
This is going to be a worldwide event, bro. This is going to be Avatar levels. You are going to see Grand Theft Auto 6 everywhere, plastered everywhere. It's going to be everywhere, dude. Everywhere.
I just
everywhere.
So
it's going to be huge.
So where do you think the first spike of sales stops? Like, so if they sell 30 and there's, let's say, 80 million consoles, I think the attach rate's probably going to be about 60%. So maybe call it 50 million is where it will peter out. I think the attach rate between the two consoles at being 60% at, towards the whatever that time is, couple months deep. I think that's where it's going to hit. I
think it'll be at about 60 million copies in the first year is where it'll probably end up. So I think within that first week, we're looking between 30 and 40 million copies. And then it will double that from the first week till the end of the calendar year. So all the rest, I think you're going to double it. And then I think from there, it'll just sell. It'll still be like the hottest selling game known, out. If Baldur's Gate 4 could come out and that thing could sell, in a week, that thing could sell 10 million copies, right? Grand Theft Auto is still going to be discussed. There'll be games that'll come out and they'll be like, Grand Theft Auto 6 is still outselling this game. And we're talking 3, 4, 5, 6 months in. That's how much. And as soon as PC comes, right? It's going to be a whole nother wave because now you're going to have the people that bought the game for the console rebuying the game for the PC 100%. And we're talking you're saying a 60% attach rate. We're talking out of that 60% attach rate. I'm saying 80, 90% are going to rebuy that game for PC. That's how serious it's going to be.
Here's the interesting part. In that Digital Foundry breakdown of the trailer when they were talking about graphics and all that stuff, and because that's what they do, one of them had done some quick maths on, because they were talking about the PC release and how it's not being released on day one, and obviously whatever, and
for obvious reasons.
Because he said, if you were to just do some quick math, you go on Steam, on the Steam charts, and you see the hardware, that because they do the surveys, and you can see. He said there's a percentage of users using 3080s or higher. 3080 is that's a graphics card, monster. And it is basically more powerful than the Xbox and the PlayStation by itself. That being said, even though it's a relatively small percentage, because of the number of Steam users in that neck of the woods, there's a potential for what was it? 10 or 20 million more platforms to sell to on day one that has a 3080, which would clear whatever requirements the game has.
Oh yeah.
And so at least to be more specific, to match the console quality, because you're not going to take a 3080 and run this at 4K with all the fucking bullshit that they're running. A 4090 ain't doing that shit. I hate to tell you.
Hell no. No.
Not happening.
But in 2 years, there's going to be graphics cards that will.
I don't even want how much we're paying for graphics cards 2 years from now, bro. With the cost of them now, it's going to be like a $7,000 bill.
Yeah, all of it. And there will be people that will remortgage their houses and max out their credit cards to play Grand Theft Auto 6 in its highest form. They just will. They just will.
It's true.
It's one of those
true.
Games, bro.
We're just going to have to wait and see.
We'll see. I'm excited. I'm not like, I'm not one of these dudes that are just like going nuts and like, because like you said, it's 2 years out. But, we
already know it's going to be good. It's like, what are we getting excited about? It's going to be a good video game. Even if it's not your cup of tea, it is going to win Game of the Year. So just buckle up now. Whatever the fuck comes out, whatever comes out, it doesn't matter. Grand Theft Auto 6 is winning Game of the Year. Just brace for that shit now. Accept your fate.
Oh, that's locked in. That's locked in. You got all these publishers now going, we do not release said game in 2025.
No, we move it.
We push that a few months into 2026.
100%.
We aren't competing because you lose instantly.
Oh, every time. Every time. And then the last little note here, which I've already partially touched on, but while the Game Awards kick off tonight with the return of the legendary epic flute guy who is making a return. Pedro, what's his name? Pedro Escalas or something. I can't remember his full name. Anyway, he's a god. He's, do you remember who I'm talking about here, Mr. Black?
I do. He was there last year.
So he's the flautist for Hans Zimmer and has been for years. And there's some interesting interviews, if you haven't seen them already, where they talk about, for example, how they came up with the music for Dune and how Pedro went to Home Depot and created instruments to play for Dune. Like, this guy is just, you ever just see somebody, I mean, if you know this if you watched him in the orchestra, you'd think it was his event. He was so hype. The amount of energy he was putting into playing the fucking instrument every time the camera cut to him, it was a new fucking instrument. It was the craziest shit, and every time he was just so fucking excited, and at the end, bro. He got up and he was pumping everyone else, they're in an orchestra, so they're bowing and whatever, being very, and he's like, fuck yeah, flutes! And he's just so excited. And, but you ever just see somebody and know that they're lucky enough that they have found, that's their thing. And not only are they fucking extraordinarily good at it, but they love it so much that they're probably going to live to 300 years old because no day is taxing. They just love every second of their fucking life. This man plays 1,000 different wind instruments and creates his own. Is Hans Zimmer on speed dial? That's what Hans Zimmer calls him up and says, we got another movie. He says, I'll be right over. And then
I'm bringing my flute. I'm going to Home Depot first. Need anything?
He's a goddamn legend. So he's confirmed to be back because obviously, hashtag flute guy trended back when he was on stage, and now they're bringing him back. And then Gonzo, the Muppet, is the who they've got presenting one of the sections today. The Muppet presenting has become a thing as well, I guess. But nevertheless, that is tonight. So I'll be watching that. But while I haven't seen a lot of Game of the Years be announced just yet, because it is still kind of early, GameSpot snuck theirs out before the show tonight, I guess knowing that they were going to get eclipsed by whatever the fuck is going to be happening tonight with the Game Awards. But they announced that their Game of the Year is in fact Baldur's Gate 3, and deservingly so. I'm going to be very upsetty spaghetti if that doesn't just win Game of the Year. If I see a Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom win tonight, I don't care how many epic flute guys you got. I ain't watching your show next year. I'm just gonna fucking put that out there right now. That'd be some bullshit. That being said, the Game of the Year for the Game Awards, the list, Mr. Black, is of the nominees: Alan Wake 2. That was a dark horse, last second, snuck in the back door there. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which was your pick, I think, in the midst of all of this stuff, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's a pretty hefty list, one way or the other. It's a lot of good games in there.
I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win.
It has to.
Yeah,
it has to. How does it not? I don't and like I know you haven't played it, but like it is a fucking video game.
Yeah,
It's
I've
good
been hearing
shit
that from everybody, and I've seen a little bit of it. I watched you play probably about an hour of it or whatever, and I've seen some videos and stuff like that. So it's not. I shouldn't say it's not my type of game because I think it kind of would be, but I think what it is
it's too time consuming for you.
Time consuming. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much of a commitment, man. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
The Alan Wake 2 thing was nice. I beat that shit in pretty much 2 sittings, right? And that's perfect for me. That's like, hey, get it out my system. Let's go. Let's move on. But 2 months of playing a game, no, bro.
And that's assuming you play quite, a fair amount each time you sit down, because I mean, it's if you're not blasting through it and you're just taking your time, it's 150 hours, and so or more, and that's fine. That's great. That's because it's not shit content. They didn't put filler. I mean, that's 150 hours of legitimate game from beginning to fucking end. And so for people that this is their hobby and they're not doing this something else or whatever, and it's great because it means they can buy one game and they're good for a fucking while. They don't need to go buy another game. And you know what the beauty of it is? It costs the same amount of money as all these other games, except it's 40 trillion times bigger and in most instances better.
You know what Baldur's Gate reminds me of? Baldur's Gate reminds me of a mature gamer's game. It feels like it's a game that is meant for people with intellect, and it's a game that's meant for people that have patience and that don't have TikTok brain, and that just want to get it's like a game that's made for somebody that loves video games but loves their type of video game that they just haven't been able to experience for forever. And they're the type of people that talk about, I remember when video games were good. I remember when I used to play back in the day when I was a teenager back in fucking 1998. We used to sit down there and we used to play like Neverwinter Nights or whatever. And we said, you get down there and pour Baldur's Gate and just like, it just feels like a game of substance.
It's because it's been like made by people.
Yeah.
That give a fuck.
Yes. Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. And it's like going to it's like going to a very fine dining restaurant and you're going to get quality food when you're there. You don't get to go there often, so it's like you enjoy it. You take your time while you eat.
This was literally me last night.
Yeah. That's it. That's what Baldur's Gate, like at face value, I've never played it, but at face value, that's what it reminds me of. It just reminds me of class. It just reminds me of just maturity. And it's just something you just don't see. Most video games, it's just, there's something childlike to it. It's just sporadic and noise and colors and flashing and
because it's trying to just extract
stupid random distractions.
It's a product.
It's a product. There you go. This just feels like an experience, and it's one that you can take your time with. It's one that you just want to enjoy the meal. You don't want to just shovel it in. You want to it's like you pour that glass of wine, you want to swirl it up there, take a swiff of it, take a test, say, I'll take more of that. And then they pour in the fucking thing. You know what? Leave the bottle. We're going to be here for a bit. That's what it feels like. That's what it looks like. And I like that. I think it should win Game of the Year.
Oh, 100%.
Every other game on that list, Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man, Legend of Zelda, Mario Bros. Wonder, Resident Evil 4 Remake, they're all that shit that I was talking about. And I'm not saying that those games aren't great in their own right. They're good fucking games, all of them. Maybe not Tears of the Kingdom, but all of them. They're good fucking games, right? But there's just something special about Baldur's Gate 3 that just none of them can touch. It's like having that, it's like that grandfather that just is like 90 years old and has seen life. And when he speaks and he's telling a story, everybody gathers and listens and shuts the fuck up. Even like the toddlers and everybody else around the table that are usually loud and shit. And everybody just listens. Everything else is noise. Some of it's good noise, but it's just noise. Baldur's Gate 3 just... I'm almost talking myself into wanting to play
No,
it.
I know. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, God, this come from a guy who ain't played the game yet. This sounds like he's talking himself in.
I'm almost doing it.
Listen. I mean, if you want to like try and break it up or whatever the fuck, whatever, it's multiplayer. We could theoretically go through it together.
Ooh.
It is. You could do the whole. You could play each individual as a character, and you could play that shit. You could do that. That's a thing that can happen. I've not done it yet, but people have been bugging me to go back to it.
We might. We'll have to discuss it. Maybe it could be a little series we do.
Yeah, and just not like force it because it's not going anywhere. We could just kind of like pop on.
I don't give a fuck.
Got some
pop
time.
On, have some fun. Once a week, fucking go there, grind out. I think it'd be fun. I'll think about it. It's
good shit. Either, whether that happens or not, you should probably at some point give it a shot. It is, even though it's long, and sometimes there is fatigue, obviously, even when you're enjoying a game when it goes on for that long.
Yeah. I mean, sex is great, but if it goes on too long, it starts to become like, all right, somebody needs to start coming.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to start going. You know what I mean?
It's still a game that if you only had some time to sit down and play it, it's not a game that you can't just save. You can save it mid-combat. So, like, at any point in time, you need to dip, save, go, come back, and you're right where you left off and whatever. And obviously they did that because they know this is a big, complex, time-consuming experience, and the last thing you need is to have, like, inconvenient checkpoints where you can only save every 4.5 fucking hours. And you need to have like a full day commitment. So they've accounted for that anyway.
Dude, I've got a hot take. I think every game should be like that. In 2023, you should be able to save virtually anywhere you want outside of a cutscene, and turn the game off and go, and then come back and you're right back where you were. It's 2023. Holy fuck.
Well, you can kind of do that with games on consoles to a degree. You can pause the game. You're not saving it per se, but you can pause it and then power the console down. It goes into like it never turns itself off unless you tell it to go all the way down and boot it back up. But as far as like saving your game in case the power went out or some other shit happened, that's game specific. That's not really like. Yeah. But you should. I agree. At this
point, be able to save anywhere at any time for any game. Shit, some stuff come up. I need a shit, and I don't think I'm coming back. Save, gone.
It is. I guess. Like the only thing is in some games that becomes a challenge for like game breaking. But I think we should probably be able to figure that out. I have faith that people are smart enough to figure that shit out at this point. But you know what else though? People are smart, but they might need some help, Mr. Black, on how to find themselves a place to stay safe and stay anonymous. I'm going to go take something out of the freezer while you sell out real quick.
All right. First off, we got Patreon, patreon.com/legtv. Head on over there, throw money at the screen. Guys, I've been saying this every week for God knows how long now. I think we're going on to year 6 for the podcast. But none of this stuff happens without your guys' support, right? Obviously, this content isn't driving an insane amount of money from an ad standpoint or anything like that. It's literally a net negative. But we like being here. We like hanging out with you guys. It allows Adam and us to be here to do some kind of content together. We enjoy it. And if you guys want to continue to support it, or you've been on the fence, can head on over to patreon.com/legtv. It's as little as $1. You can throw that at the screen. Helps us, goes a long way, keeps us going. On top of that, and if you can't, that's totally fine. I'm not like trying to, pressure you into doing it. But if you can't afford it, which a lot of people can't these days, it's rough out there. You can support by hitting the like button, by tuning in when the show happens, being part of the conversation, leaving a comment, leaving a review, all of that stuff. That's a great way to support. That costs you $0.00. And or if you want to support us outside, but not completely directly, but in indirect way, you can go check out NordVPN. We just re-signed with them, so big thank you to the people over the last few months that have been getting NordVPN. We re-signed with them for a little while, so that is muchly appreciated, and it's all thanks to you guys getting your subscriptions. We do still have the promo going on right now where if you guys do get a NordVPN subscription of 2 years or more, you take a screenshot of your receipt, send us that screenshot with a StarCraft 2 replay of your choice under 30 minutes in game length. We will guaranteed cast your game. And good news, we only have, I think, one in the queue right now. So we're going to do that here tonight. So the first person that gets one in, you guys are going to be the week after. So just to give you guys a heads up, it's a great way to support us. And of course, support yourself all at once. Have anonymity when you're on the internet. Watch different regions of Netflix and other streaming services at the click of a button. Stay safe and stay anonymous, guys. I mean, it's 2023. We are less than a month away from 2024, which is insane to even think about. And we're becoming more and more of a digital world. I mean, it is what it is, guys. And whether you are on your smartphone, your Android, your Mac, your PC, your Mac, your laptop, your iPad, you're traveling, whatever, you can use NordVPN on the fly at the click of a button. I have it. Adam has it. Tons of you guys have it. It is the #1 VPN service in the world. Been in business for over 11 years. I have never, not once, and I'm not bullshitting you. This isn't like me overselling it and spewing out of my ass. This is the truth. I have never, not once, had a problem with a server on NordVPN. I've used it for streaming. I've used it to download large amounts of things. I use it on my phone, my PC, my Mac. I have never had a problem. Never. And I use it almost daily. Not every day, but at least 5 days a week. My stuff is running. And if you can stream on it for 9-10 hours straight with no interruptions, with high bit rate on these streaming platforms, bro, it's a win. So go check them out. Get yourself a virtual private network. Use the promo code OTT. Get a massive discount plus 4 extra months. Brings down your average to less than half a cup of coffee at Starbucks a month, right? We're talking a few dollars a month. Go get it. 1 in 3 households got a VPN. Join in, and you can use up to 6 simultaneous devices. So you really only need 1 account per household, unless you have an extended Filipino family. You might need 2.
It's possible.
But then again, you can hook it up to your router and have all, and then just have that as 1. You still have 5 others. So really, there are ways to manipulate it, but at least get yourself 1. And that's it.
It's very true. It's very true. And now it's time for
movies and TV.
Nicolas Cage announced in an interview that he thinks that he's only got about 3 or 4 movies left in him before
we
he
have a weekly Nicolas Cage update.
It's true.
We're the only movie segment on the internet that just somehow manages to talk about Nicolas Cage.
There's nothing else happening in this industry. It's only Nicolas Cage news. He's got 3 or 4 more films left in him before he'd like to spend time with his family and maybe try some small screens of TV type roles, as he feels like he's done absolutely everything in film at this point that he can. He's said everything he wants to say in the realms of film.
With all due respect, Nick Cage, I don't think you have much of a choice, man. Because let's be real here. He's had a resurgence.
He's doing that A24 film now.
Yeah, he's had a resurgence for about a 3-year period, like a solid resurgence. Not on the level of like a Keanu Reeves, but like, a resurgence. And he starred in some movies, like he had that the Dracula movie and stuff. They're all pretty much bombs, bro. Like he is not a box office draw, and there's a reason why he hasn't starred in big films in a very long time. And he had some hype for a bit, especially with the one there with what's his face, the comedy where he's playing himself. Oh,
he's playing himself. Yeah, the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Massive talent. You know what I mean? Like he had some buzz. Don't get me wrong. And Hollywood was like, you know what? Fuck it, man. Like maybe we can make some money off this guy. and his movies are just not selling.
Well, he's also picking movies that were never going to make a lot of money in the first place, right? So, like, as soon as he made Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, I knew he was only going to make another handful of movies anyway. Because once you've done that,
I mean,
then you're parodying yourself, like you're capping your career. And I guess the other thing to put is that if you ever listen to, I mean, obviously Nick Cage loves to make his money because he's spent a lot of his fucking money and got in trouble with the IRS and ended up fucking spending a decade working, any movie that he could get his hands on to pay them off. But once you get out the other side of that, he went right back to just kind of like, he just wants to do whatever the fuck that like seems interesting to him. He's not like chasing. I'm pretty sure if he wanted to, they'd greenlight National Treasure 3. Like, I'm almost positive. If he went and did that right now, they'd say, sure, Nick, that sounds like we can make a reasonable amount of money for the budget that we'd be, have to give you. Fucking go do it.
Could you imagine either National Treasure or The Mummy with Nick Cage?
The Mummy with Nick Cage and Brendan Fraser?
Nick Cage and Brendan Fraser, bro.
National Treasure with Brendan Fraser in there? I mean, yes.
Bro. I'm in.
Yes.
I'm fucking so in, dude.
The Renaissance and the Nick Cage assance?
Dude, I think that right there. And they both got comedic chops. They're
Absolutely.
both likable dudes. They're both like old Hollywood stars. Like they had their time.
And they're movie buffs, both of them. Like when they talk about movies, like Nick talks about some esoteric fucking like German black and white silent film.
He loves film, right?
He's a Coppola.
Yes, he is. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I'd be all in for that, bro. That would be pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
National Treasure. I mean, you could even, I mean, fuck. I'd be so in for that.
I think National Treasure I mean, if we can put Harrison goddamn Ford at 703 years old back on screen.
That movie bombed hard.
I know, but if that can get greenlit, is what I'm saying. Like if we can greenlight that shit, god damn it. I mean, we don't have to de-age Nick Cage. You just put him in there and say this is like his last fucking, banger here and with it, and it's not like in the movies he ever had to run anywhere anyway. So you just, fucking put him back out there. Fucking make it happen.
With Brendan Fraser, please.
With Brendan Fraser.
Please do that, and I'm in.
Holy shit. So yeah, anyway, that's what he said. And you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I mean, he has kind of done, if you look, there's very few people that have a filmography as long as Nicolas Cage, for better or worse.
Some of those movies are so bad, dude. That
terrible.
It almost shouldn't even be on the IMDb.
Terrible. Right, but you know what? I got to respect the fact that when he got that bill from the IRS, he had a couple options. He could have just filed for bankruptcy and gone through like a bunch of but he went out and go to jail. He took every fucking movie, which you have to think about it for Nicolas Cage, probably fucking hurt
bad.
Hard.
Like, what am I doing here? Oh my god, I should have never have bought that like $10,000 dinosaur fossil.
Yeah.
What was I? Oh my god. Oh no, what have I done?
And he did it. The crazy mad lad fucking did it. And he got out and then he went right back to making some shit. And you know what? When he came back, I like, cause some of his movies haven't popped off. Like Renfield didn't exactly make a fortune. I suspect it's probably not a shit movie. It's just never going to be a movie that was going to make any money. Pig, phenomenal. Really good movie. And this new one coming up that's tied into this next point for this segment. He's doing this. I can't remember the name of the film now, but it's an A24 film where he's like an average. It's gonna be fire. So you hear A24 and Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, dude, I'm hearing the Zac Efron wrestling movie is insanely good.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Insanely good.
And they got him all juiced up for that movie. Jesus Christ, that dude is.
I mean, he went from Baywatch where he was on every cutting fucking steroid there was, and he's
on bulking and cutting steroids.
Yeah, now he's on D-ball, trend, fucking. He's got. I mean, he's walking around like You know,
Well, you
he's
know
in
why?
needles still
'Cause
sticking out of his ass.
the guy that he's technically playing in this film is a Von Erich, and the Von Erich boys were all
crazy.
fucking
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
huge, juiced out of their minds.
I can't wait to see that movie. I can't wait to see it.
I bet you it's gonna be really good. I mean, his face has been changed forever. He's been on so much HGH now for the last fucking few years. He doesn't even look like Zac Efron anymore. He looks like an alien. But he's in crazy shape for this movie. He should. And it does look good. I mean, look, they've got wrestlers in this movie to like make sure that it's a good depiction.
Authentic.
They've got Chavo Guerrero and all they've got a bunch of really great wrestlers in there.
Really good wrestlers, yeah.
So it should be really good. Yeah. And then we have to wait and see eventually this Chris Evans flick where he's playing Hulk fucking Hogan. Now, if you want to talk about being on
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, Hemsworth, sorry, Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Talk about being on juice.
Oh, he's on all the juice, bro. The last Thor movie, I think he was prepping to film.
It was
and he was like, I think once he was done that, he was going right into the Hulk Hogan movie, bro. He was so fucking big in this last Thor movie. It's fucking insane.
It's huge.
So fucking huge, bro. And he went butt ass naked in that fucking movie, bro. He's like, I'm showing it. It's fucking massive.
His only problem is that he's an athletic build, right? So his legs are still
chicken legs.
But,
bro.
But he's just fucking huge. I mean, like the problem is that like how many people can you find that could legitimately have a chance at approaching a size that could be passable as Hulk Hogan in the fucking 80s? The man was like 320 fucking pounds and like 6'8". Like you're like. How many people? And he walked around like that. Like that was him playing guitar. Like there's pictures of him playing guitar in like fucking Florida or some shit. Yeah, and the guitar looks like this fucking remote control in his fucking because he's so fucking big. And it's just
now he's crippled the fuck. Right?
And
that's what that'll do.
That was pre-steroids. Then he got on the roids.
Oh yeah, bro.
24-inch arms and shit, just fucking huge. Oh, yeah. But he's crippled now because he decided that his finisher was going to be dropping 300 pounds on the mat 3 times a night, 7 days a week for fucking 40 years, which, as it turns out, is really bad for your spine. Yeah.
Not good. Don't do that. Don't
terrible.
Do that.
But I am looking forward to both of those films because they both will probably be really good representations of wrestling in the era. Probably more for Zach's, because anything involving Hulk Hogan's going to have some bullshit in it 100% because Hogan embellishes so hard. I just think
the Hulk Hogan one, there's going to be some levels of comedy to it. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a more entertaining watch. Yes. But I think the Zac Efron one will be a bit more depressing and just really hyper real.
Yeah.
And it'll be fantastic to watch, but it'll be a different type of entertainment.
It's gonna be like the dark side of the ring, but in movie form.
Yeah.
One
last thing. I watched Squid Games. Did you watch that? The reality show?
I can't bring myself to watch that shit, bro. I can't.
Really?
Because the reason why Squid Game works is because they are dying. That's why that works. Nobody is physically dying in the Squid Game reality TV show.
No, they don't. But it's funny when they get killed because they have like an ink or some sort of thing there on their chest.
Is there a blood pack that pops or some shit?
Yeah. So when they die, and they're all told to act dead. So basically, when they die, you just see them get boom, and they go. And they all fall down. And it's fucking funny as fuck.
So they've got a bunch of regular ass people trying to act like they're dying.
Oh,
so
bro,
like everyone's got like their own version.
Yeah, they're up against the wall and they get shot and they just like poof, and they go against the wall and they slide down. They're like, dude, it's great, dude. And but obviously it's not as good as the show. But dude, first place. $4.65 million, bro. $10,000 a person.
That's
I
half a house.
Finale last night. Half a house. Bro.
Out here dying for half a mortgage.
Half a house. But dude, I enjoyed the show, man. I enjoyed the show.
Okay,
the episode,
all right,
like,
okay.
they pretty much use all of the games that was in the original, and then they add in some new ones.
Okay.
But it's a really cool social experiment, because the game is more than just being physically good. You got to also, you don't want to put a target on your back. You don't want to be too abrasive. You don't want to be too friendly. You don't want to be too liked. It's like this thing. And I like how they, in the show, they would interview a whole bunch of people like before it all began. And there would be like sort of storylines, and you get to know each character. But man, there'd be people you root for, and boom, they're just gone. Like it's just it's a show where you can tell production doesn't interfere with what actually goes on. So you're gonna really get attached to a couple of players, and they're gone, right? And they could be gone over dumb shit. They could be gone over like high octane stuff. But they'll just be gone. And I find out like a lot of reality shows, they almost rig it. They kind of know who the stars are, and they want to keep them on for ratings. Here, it's like, listen, bro, you either gonna die, like you gotta figure out a way to survive. And it's very conniving. There's some shit that goes down in the show where I'm like, whoo! Because dude, they're playing for $4.6 million. This isn't $100,000 Netflix show where they kiss each other and they lose $4,000. The $4.5 million. I can't think of another reality show where the prize pool is this big for one person.
No, it's never. No, nobody's. That's. I mean, the most it's ever been, as far as I know, is $1 million. I mean, for cash. And so
$4.65 million. Every head that goes is 10 grand, and they add it into the big fucking ball of money above everybody in the sell place, and they just drop large amounts of cash, dude. I think you'd enjoy it. And I will say that it's only 10 episodes long.
Okay.
And I would say 8 of the episodes are like nail biting. Like you're watching this and you're like, oh my God, like I'm in it. I'm like, man, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, because you don't know who's going to die. Like you just don't know who's going to go.
I kind of want to watch it. The thing that sold me, out of everything you just told me, and there's there's lots of stuff that people might get attached to there, but I got to keep it 100. The one thing that you sold me on that I want to see it is knowing that a bunch of regular civilians have been told to pretend to be dead after their blood pack explodes, and I need to see the million variations of the.
I laugh every time, bro. In the very beginning when they do the
red light, green light,
the red light, green light.
Yeah,
bro, it's a massacre, bro. It's a massacre, and you're watching people get killed. Some of them like, and they. And they fall down. Other ones like die slow. It's fun. It's fun. And we're talking like there's some old people. Like there's old people, young people, everything. And they had people on there that are desperate for money. You know what I mean? Like there's people that are down bad. Like they're like, bro, I have nothing.
98% of the population is dying for $4 million.
There's like one girl on there. There's like, inflation's gone crazy. I can't afford groceries. And they're like out here fighting for $4.6 million, bro. And there's some aggressive ass players, bro. There's like, dude, there's some people in there. I'm like, oh my God.
Honest to God, you know what's funny? It was like funny but kind of dark about this whole thing is that it feels like we are legitimately about one step away from the actual fucking show being done, because people will be desperate enough to actually go in and watch a spectacle where people are dying.
But it's a wide range. It's not like you're watching a bunch of like super down bad people. There are, when they play marbles, and they all have to agree what kind of marble game they want to play between each other. And then they've got like I always call the Squid Game people like the PlayStation controller people.
Yeah, because they
always got like a circle and a triangle and a fucking square, and it looks just like a PlayStation controller. And they got the balls. And they're throwing the marbles when a person gets eliminated. And this was great how they did this, bro. I don't know if you remember in the show when they did the marbles, it was almost like a maze, and it was like there was sand on the ground. So they recreate, like, dude, they basically took Mr. Beast's idea and put it on steroids, right? So even when they're walking to the thing, they have like that big maze thing where they're walking up the stairs, and they've replicated the show like perfectly. And so they're throwing the marbles, and when it ends, each one at the end they do a walk away. So essentially the one that lost, they're standing there, they're like, oh no, I'm going home, and they're waiting to be killed, right? And then what they'll do is they'll have the other person. At this point, what they've done in this is this part is it's not really a spoil because it happens in the show. But they say everybody grab a partner, and of course they're gonna grab an ally that they are close to, but they didn't realize that they're about to kill each other, right? So the majority of them all like each other, and they hate to see each other go, right? But they got to kill somebody. So as they're walking away, it's almost like a death scene, and the camera it's like they slowly walk away from the area as they go back into the main room. And the person that lost is standing there, and they get killed, they get shot, and bro, they play this music, and you just see them, right? Like they all just fall down and play dead, bro. It's so perfect. And their friends are like crying on the way out. And they're sad because like they know they're getting killed. And that alone is worth a viewing, and you'll laugh every time. Kayla's sitting there, she's half watching it, she's playing the Switch, and I'm kind of high, right? I'm eating edibles, and I'm watching this shit, bro, and I'm laughing every time somebody dies. It's great. It's great. So go check it out. It's worth a watch. And the episodes are like 45 minutes. It's not like it's not a huge time sink, but it's definitely entertaining.
Oh, I might just for the death scenes might have to go and check it out for sure. The only other thing to add here, we already touched on it, but to a degree. But A24 signed an exclusive rights contract now with HBO. Everyone's kind of been wondering where's A24 going, who's going to get A24 shit, because A24 have been popping off making bangers after banger after banger after banger. They get a $4 budget, they're cranking out a $500 million movie.
Yeah, A24 said Harvey Weinstein's in jail now. We're taking over.
Yep. Bye-bye, Harvey. And now they're going to HBO Max. And I'm going to keep calling it HBO Max because just calling it Max is fucking dumb. So it's going to HBO Max after the theatrical release. So they're in theaters, and then when it comes down for streaming services, it will be going exclusively to HBO Max. And that's where they'll be housed. That's a big win for HBO because HBO, it's supposed to all be about quality, and there ain't really a lot of people cranking out more quality than A24 right now.
No, nobody is. Nobody. Not on that
certified bangers.
Oh yeah, bro. Everything
every
everywhere
time.
all at once.
Yeah. Oh. And soon, Nicolas Cage. What is an A24 Nicolas Cage movie even? How does that what?
I'm in. I don't know. I'm in though. I'm in.
Whatever
you
that
had
is.
Me at A24.
Yeah, I'm in. And now it's time to move on to
tech support.
Patreon.com/LikeTV is the place to go if you want to financially support this podcast for $5 or more each and every month. You get a couple of perks, but chiefly you are able to ask us a question on a post that I put up on the Patreon. There we go. It wasn't loading comments. Each and every week before the podcast, you ask us questions on that post on the Patreon. We give you answers. Let's see what we got. David asks, Jeff, how are your Chat GPT explorations going?
I haven't explored at all, bro. I haven't touched it. All
right. Well, you guys get back to us when that eventually happens. You get your first experiences talking to GPT.
Week, it's been a week. Let's put it that way. So I just haven't had a whole lot of time to fuck around and find out, but I will soon. Okay, I have no idea what I've done. Okay, Danish says, if you had to make a Tinder bio for each other, what would it say? A Tinder bio for Adam?
A Tinder bio. I'm gonna say that Jeff's tagline in his Twitter bio, or his bio. I'm gonna go with chicken ain't the only thing I'll be slinging if you give me a fucking call. That's my tagline.
Chicken ain't the only thing I'm gonna be slinging. What the fuck? You're gonna get me reported. Oh fuck. Oh man.
I'm so bored. I can't wait to see what Jeff's fucking answer for this is gonna be. It's gonna be fucking impossible.
Well, I'm just gonna say, yeah, I don't fucking know.
There's nothing. I'll even try to help you out here. Let me see.
Okay, all right. Your bio would be this. If you like vanilla ice cream, you're gonna love me. That's it. That's just it. That's it.
Perfect. I was going down the road of Wonder. I was going down the road of Wonder Bread, but you went with the vanilla ice cream route.
Vanilla ice cream, bro. If you like vanilla ice cream, then you're gonna love me.
If you've ever sat back and enjoyed a tuna fish sandwich, boy, do I have a date for you.
Oh, white Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Plain white toast. Let's see. The Blainer says, do you have life advice that you give, that comes from experience? For me, it's choose to work where you want to go because it's going to be almost half of your life.
Choose to work where. Okay, say that.
Well, he's just saying. Do you have life advice that you give out of experience?
I mean, I don't really give much life advice, but because nobody really asked me for life advice.
Nobody's coming down and going, "Hey, what do you got? Some life advice?"
The meaning of life.
No.
Sometimes they'll ask me like real estate advice or
that
sort of stuff. But I would say this. I would say. Oh man. Oh jeez. I would say, I'm trying to think of a really profound way of saying this, and it's just not hitting me. But I'll go and say that, like he said about job. So what was his one?
Well, his one. He said, choose work choose a place to work that you actually want to go to because it's going to be like half of your life.
Yeah, I mean it's decent. There is truth to that. But I also believe that like you have to work the shit job before
of course. There's a balance there. Yeah,
there's a balance, right? Like, but generally speaking, like career wise, right? Not a job, but like a career, you might want to do something that you at least don't hate.
You're just gonna die early from stress if you're going somewhere that you hate all the time. Yeah.
But I would say choosing your partner. Choosing the right partner, it's hard to, I don't want to say don't settle because that kind of sounds like, but at the same time, like if you have certain morals or certain ideologies or philosophies that like you just live by, and like they're like non-negotiables, like we'll just say everybody kind of has non-negotiables for a relationship. I have mine. I'm sure you have yours.
Yeah.
I'm sure like everybody, I would imagine if you don't figure those out, and don't break those, find somebody that holds similar values and, find a partner that, you can spend the rest of your life with, like for real. And one that's going to be behind your back and you're behind theirs. I think that's honestly for me, it's I would say it's the most important aspect because if you've got a shit job, if you've got a shit whatever, your partner is likely going to be the person that is going to help you through those times. Is going to be there for you. And it's the burden. You don't have to have the burden on yourself the whole time, Like there's a lot of things that in this world that I could have done without my wife, but like they don't really have meaning without sharing it and going through that with somebody, and it just makes things easier, a lot easier. And it can be tough. There are times it's fucking tough, but I would wager that, finding the right partner or spouse or whatever, whether you marry or you don't marry, like whatever it is that your thing is, I just think it's probably the most important, because also if you have kids, it's going to be the mother of your children. Or if it's the opposite sex, it's going to be the father of your child, right? I just think having the spouse is probably the most important thing that you can do, a decision that you can make. They say like buying a house is the biggest decision or whatever. I think your spouse is the biggest decision that you could ever make in your life, because everything just revolves around you guys. It's decisions that you guys make. You might have somebody that leads the household, so to speak, or maybe it's your thing where your moral thing is nobody leads the household. We do everything together. These are all non-negotiables that I think you need to figure out, because it's a big trickle-down effect, bro. You get divorced or something like that fucks your life up. Most people lose 70% of their net worth, of their value, like their financial value, after a divorce. Like going through and after a divorce, 70% gone. Set you back. If you got kids, even worse. So
it's true.
I would say the spouse, man, just choosing the right partner. And it's going to sound harsh, but like in the back of your mind, if you feel like, no, this is just not a person I can be with forever, don't lock yourself into that, because chances are you will not be with them forever. It just won't happen.
Very true. That's a good one. One of the few things that it's one that I try to do, but I failed fucking miserably at this my entire life. So this is advice, but it's not going to be one of those things where it's going to be like one of those, do what I say, not what I do kind of situations, because I failed fucking miserably at this, continue to all the time. But it's living life with at least a toe or 1 foot outside of your comfort zone at all times. Because if everything is in your comfort zone, if you're not even a toe outside of it, you're not growing or doing anything. You're just there. You're existing. You're not doing anything, to further yourself or improve upon yourself. And oftentimes people get to be the most miserable when they aren't progressing in some way, shape, or form. And in order to progress, it almost always comes with some form of discomfort, whether it's physical pain or otherwise. I mean, going to the gym is like the easy example, where you're going to be sore, you're going to have to put in the time, it's going to suck, but you get results on the other end. That's like the whole idea, and that applies pretty much anywhere in life. You're going to be uncomfortable because you're going to have to do things that you didn't do before. Maybe you aren't all that good at it, but you have to start somewhere. And if you only, stick to what you know and only do what you're good at and never continue to learn even about that one thing, you're going to get left behind. And then you're going to be pretty miserable about it. And so you've got to be able to that's what, I'm not saying, some people will say you got to push yourself out of the comfort zone, which I think is aggressive. Because that's implying you're just fully sending into the sun, doing some dumb shit that you probably shouldn't be doing. Like, there is a line, don't just pick up, extreme fucking, like, don't pick up F1 racing tomorrow and decide that you're just going to start to be a fucking F1 racer or some shit. But, like, you got to have, like, a toe or a foot, so just something outside, so that you're comfortable, but you're not being complacent, and finding new things, new ways to get outside of your comfort zone a little bit is something to try and always do. And then the only other one that kind of goes with that is lots of people have different ways of explaining it, but the 1% rule, and I'm not talking about the wealthy people, but it's like, and again, I'll use the gym as an example. Gym. There's a reason why gym bros can be very philosophical. Or if you listen to Arnold, like he talks of goddamn fly intervals. It will always result better over the long run and result in less burnout than if you try to like go to the gym and like the old adage was every 3 weeks add X amount of weight to your sets. That's what people said fucking goddamn forever. At 3 weeks, add some more weight until it gets easy and then do it again. Fuck that. If you can, it doesn't always have to be more weight, but as you're getting through these periods, add one more rep. If you're on the treadmill, 1 more minute, 30 more seconds. Literally anything that is more than you did last time, and then that will add up way more than trying to tack on a bunch at the 3 week mark, blow a fucking tire, and then like get burnt out and never want to do it again. And so if you can apply that logic in some way, shape, or form in your general life, whether it's like learning something new on a daily basis or whatever, and it's a small amount, that shit just that will always outpace the quick fucking. The problem is that everyone wants like, you know, the instantaneous fucking result shit.
That's now, yeah.
But if you just make it a lifestyle and then you just do like that one little like how hard does it sound if you're on a treadmill and you add 15 more seconds to it than you did last time? You're 100% hitting 15 seconds. You do that. Let's say you're on the treadmill 3 days a week. Or in this instance, let's call it 4 days a week. By the end of the week, you're a minute longer than you were at the start of the week.
Yep.
You keep going. You will get there. But if you try and do the thing where you run and then the next week you're like, all right, I'm going to tack on 5 minutes today. Nah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's literally what I've been. Not per se that, but I've committed to working out. Like there is no. Before, I would come up with every excuse. Oh, I got to work. I didn't work yesterday. I got to make money. I got to do this. I got to do that. None of it matters. None. It is, I'm working out. So if that means I make $0.00, I make $0.00, which I know. I'm only at the gym for an hour. I still come home and work. You know what I mean? I'm just not allowing any excuse. Period, point blank. And that's just that. And you're exactly right. Sore all the time, blah, blah, blah. It sucks. There's many mornings, especially now in the winter, you just don't, you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, go outside, you just don't even want to go. It's like, man, fuck. But I made a commitment. And that's just that. And it's uncomfortable, like you just said. Dip my toe in it. I dip my toe. Now I got my whole right leg in there. You know, it's just that simple. So he's absolutely right. You know, getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, and it can be small stuff, man. It doesn't even need to be working out. It could be diet. It could be relationship. You know, it could be your work. It could be anything. So I'm with Adam on that. That's some that might even be better. I don't know if it's better advice than picking the right spouse, but it's up there. It's up there. It is up there. Well, Adam is gone. And I am here by myself. So people in the chat. Oh, wait. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Em was here. She didn't have a key to get in the house. She's standing outside in the cold.
Okay. Well, that's no good.
So I got her in the house. So she's good now. Yeah. So that's it's that, and that's the way to do it, really. And I never did that when I was like all the times I've ever done my stints of working out, I've always done the thing where like I'll just tack on a whole bunch of extra weight after 3 weeks to a month.
Adam, why don't you start tomorrow, Adam? Why don't you start tomorrow? Why don't you get in that uncomfortable discomfort zone? Why don't you put a toe in, Adam? Why don't you take your own advice?
I have very large toes.
Hey, even if it is just 5 minutes.
True.
Then the next day, it's 6 minutes. And the next day, it's 7 minutes. What? You got 5 minutes to spare, bro. It's 5 minutes. Just saying.
This man. I mean, right now it's going to be push-ups because I've got no room down here to do anything else.
There you go. Hey, get in 20 push-ups. Tomorrow,
you're
going to get in.
Whoa. Let's back that number down a little bit. 2. I still gotta shovel the snow out here. I can't be sore chested going out shoveling the snow. I get on my knees. I'm doing two knee push-ups.
He said 10 times less. He said big 20.
Hey, if I add one more push-up a day, only going to take me 8 days. I'll be getting there. I'll be getting there. And actually, that's for push-ups specifically, body weight. That's actually incredible. If you just add one more every couple of days, or every like 2 or 3 days, it's crazy. How fast you'll progress. It doesn't make any sense, but just trust in the science. We're getting a long podcast, so I'm gonna do one more. We got a couple questions. You guys are gonna have to ask us again next week because we gotta do StarCraft casting and shit. And then I've got to get ready for the show. This is a random one. All right. Pork chop. 3 gallons of different liquids, which by itself, with no more context, sounds like a bad time. But, I mean, it's going to be a bad time even with context. Chug one in a single attempt. I mean, every 3 gallons, I'm dying on every one of these. It could be water, and I'm dead. But, all right, we'll go along with this. Oh, no, it's over 1 hour. Even then, I don't think I'm drinking 3 gallons of anything over an hour. That's a lot of liquid.
That's a lot of liquid. I mean,
I don't know what that is. That's like 8 liters.
That's all the liters.
That's a lot of fucking liquid. Eggnog?
No.
8 liters of eggnog?
No. Bro. I would actually die. It would be I would die. And I'm not even joking. Death.
No shot.
Death.
No shots. Oh, right. Okay, so also, I'll mention this real quick before I give my answer. So for those of you who are listening to this, either live or otherwise, Mark is doing a 12 days of StarCraftmas for the channel. He's taking old, like, Lag TV, StarCraft cast from when Cheese Fails and whatnot, and doing 12 days of throwbacks that he's got in shorts form, like the highlight moments building up until Christmas, and that's going to be kicking off on the, I think, on the 14th of the month. And so keep an eye out for that next week. But for there's more. So eggnog, Red Bull, 0 sugar if you're a health nut. Yeah, that's really the reason we're worried about drinking 8 liters of Red Bull.
Once again, death.
Not the heart-stopping amount of caffeine.
Yeah. Okay.
Or Coke mixed with Sprite. I mean, okay, so of the 3, that's easy. Coke mixed with Sprite. I'm a stir it to get rid of the bubbles.
I have to do it. I have to do the Coke. It's gonna taste like ass.
I'm gonna have diabetes.
You're gonna die doing the Red Bull, and I'm gonna die a horrible, painful death. Like, at least with the Red Bull, I'm like, what? And I die. The eggnog, I'm like slowly dying. It's like actual torture.
Yes.
Like, I'm puking, I'm shitting, I'm dying. So I have to go with the Coke and Sprite. I got no choice, and I don't even want to. But I'm gonna.
No, I'll add this one in because it's related. Dat Bread, who is a drinker of Pilk, Pepsi and milk mix. If you had to mix a soda with milk, which one are you mixing?
None. Dude, I don't drink milk ever. It would be such a bad time for me.
Apparently, people mix Pepsi and milk and like Sprite or 7-Up and milk.
People also do dark fucking tar heroin.
Black tar heroin? I know. It's very...
They do that too, right?
As Brian said, famously, Smitty said, there are 7 billion, almost 8 billion now, but 7 billion people in the world, somebody's going to like the taste of shit.
Yes. Dude, I'm not
Which is one of my favorite quotes of all time, by the way, because it's actually true, though. It's true.
But what's crazy is I would rather take a spoonful of Adam's shit and eat that over milk infused with Coke.
One Jeff, one cup? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, maybe I'd have the milk and Coke, all right?
Yeah, I think you might want to go,
eggnog, the eggnog, a gallon? I'm eating shit, bro. I'm eating shit. I'm eating shit.
You're either eating the shit or shitting it out. Those are the only two.
What?
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we got some StarCraft to go and cast, and so we will leave you there. thank you very much for stopping by. Sorry if the on the production side things were all over the place. I'm gonna have to listen back to this and see how it all went. But either way, we will see you guys next week for another one, and of course with more StarCraft on the way. Patreon.com/LagTV if you want to keep supporting that dream. Until next week, stay safe out there. Have a good one, and peace.
Hey.